custom.
So, yeah.
All right, well, hello everyone, and welcome to our first day of the 2021 IPS vCon. Our first session is intros and getting to know everyone, so do be prepared to be sent to a breakout room in the near future and talk to people you may or may not know for about 10 minutes. But did want to get an introduction of our officers and our board this morning, the people who have helped make this this day possible. And so for those of you who don't know me, I'm Michael McConville. I am the president-elect of IPS, and I will be your moderator and host for the next 3 days. So hopefully we make this as smooth an experience as it was last year. And then do, of course, want to turn it over to our fearless leader. So everyone, let's give it up for our president for IPS, Karu Kimura. Karu, take it away.
Hello, everybody. So welcome to IPS vCon 2021, a year without conference, but we will hold this meeting as a new attempt to deepen your interaction. So in many cities, I'm sorry, so corona pandemic disease is continuing. I think online meetings are a very effective means of new communication in this situation. Since it is held online, there is a time limit, but I would like you to deepen your understanding of the interaction with each members and activities of IPS for these 3 days. Enjoy. And thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Karu. I appreciate it.
So next, Mark.
Yes, Mark Superab.
Hello. I didn't know I was going to say anything, but welcome everyone. I'm glad we can join. You know, I think when we did this last year, I think it was really meaningful for a lot of people, including myself, and we want to recapture that. So I think going forward, we're going to see this kind of interaction every year, and it's exciting to see what's in store. We're doing a little bit differently, where we're having sort of curated sessions from different committee chairs, but each of those have picked people in their area, and we're looking forward to what this week has to offer.
Thanks, Mark. And of course, for those of you who don't know, Mark is our past president and served as president the past 2 years, instrumental in making last year's virtual conference work at all. So Mark, again, very much thank you for that. And then to our 2 other elected officials. First, our treasurer, Mike Smale.
Hi, everybody. Mike Smale, Chicago, Illinois, IPS treasurer. Good to see so many of you in person. Whether you've been a longtime member or you're one of the flux of members that we've had sign up in the past couple of weeks in advance of the vCon, we're happy to have you here.
And then last but definitely not least, our secretary, Patty Seaton,
who is on vacation and will not be at today's session.
That's very true.
We should see Patty by the end of the vCon.
But of course, if you know Patty, like her enthusiasm and her energy would fill the room and lift us all up throughout the rest of the day. So, and of course, we have our board members here. We're going to have everyone meet our board members, both the 4 that are not up for re-election this year and the 4 that are up for re-election, and the candidates for those board positions a little later in this session today. But before we get and break out everyone into the rooms, just to get to know everyone better, do want to go over our schedule for today so that everyone knows what to expect. So go ahead and share that for us. Of course, one of the biggest differences this year from last year is that our days are considerably shorter. And because we have shifted the focus of the vCon away from, papers and workshops and sessions like that, and kind of looking inward at IPS and seeing some updates on what we're doing as an organization and what's upcoming. Today is all about the future of IPS. And you can see that we have our intros and get to know yous in this part of the session. But today we're going to hear from Bjorn Voss from Germany, who is heading up the Planetarium Centennial Working Group, and updates from him and his team about what's happening over the next few years as we prepare for the 100th anniversary of our profession. Very, very exciting time. A little bit of breaks and networking in there, but Karu and I are going to be introducing our 22 and 2024 hosts. That's Planetarium 1 from St. Petersburg, Russia in 2022, and of course the joint Berlin and Jena bid in 2024. Then we'll turn over our sessions to our International Relations and Elections Committee Chair, Martin George, all the way in Tasmania, to meet our new IPS board candidates, as well as hearing from some of our existing board members as well. And then we've got some nice additions there at the end of today, where we'll hear from some of our new IPS affiliates that have been formed over the last year and a half, and then those organizations in which IPS collaborates very closely with, organizations like the Live Interactive Planetarium Symposium and Immersa, and a few others, and that'll bring our day to an end. But until then, we do, of course, have nearly 100 people in the room already, which is great for at least a Monday morning here in the United States. And what we'd like to do as more come in, there's Jerry, one of our IPS board members. What we'd like to do is to break everyone out into rooms for about 10 minutes. This will bring us until about 11:25 UTC. Put about 7 or 8 of you in the room, and feel free to say hello and catch up if it's people you know. Introduce yourself if it's a new IPS member. And if you are in fact a new IPS member, this is your first conference, this is your first time really interacting with the organization, let us know. I know that can be a bit of a scary proposition, but this is also an incredible group of planetarium professionals who will take you under their wings and provide you a truly memorable experience here at the vCon. So let's go ahead and set that up. We should have right about 10 rooms. You'll be assigned randomly. So not trying to put anybody in any particular room with anyone in particular. But what you'll see, of course, is a pop-up window that'll indicate that you've been assigned to a room. Go ahead and select that and head on out. What we'll do is have those rooms closing in about 10 minutes, come back to the main hall, and then we'll get to the Centennial update with Bjorn. But until then, have fun. Here we go. All right. Make sure that those are going to close at the proper time. And of course, if you'd like to leave the session at any time, there is the leave button on the bottom right side of your Zoom. Just remember to leave breakout room, not leave meeting. That will kick you out of this entirely. So just a quick reminder. All right, we're going to open those rooms and we'll see everybody in about 10 minutes.
Recording in progress.
Hi, Anna.
Hi. Lots of familiar faces, also some new ones.
Yes.
I like that. I like meeting new people. It's been kind of hard over the last couple years.
Is
Mike.
there any, I'm sorry, is there anybody new in the group? Gary?
I'm not new.
Oh, I thought you were waving your hand.
I was waving at
Waving
Smail.
I guess it depends what you mean by new.
Just joined IPS.
No.
I suppose maybe just the last year or two I've just joined.
Okay.
Is this your first IPS conference?
Actually, no, I came to the one last year because it's also virtual. So, yeah. So I'm at the Ghana Planetarium. So we know Mark very well.
Welcome.
Thank you. I mean, So I just literally joined just now. So so in this breakout room, are we just introducing ourselves, or was there anything specific we're supposed to do?
We're supposed to wave.
Okay.
No, yeah, so this is just time to chat. I think usually people go around and introduce themselves.
Okay. So let me continue. So I'm Sarah. I'm a volunteer at the Ghana Planetarium, been involved there about 10 years. I do have kind of a physics background, but I'm not a professional astronomer, and generally interested in especially astronomy education and teacher training.
Now, when Sarah says she's a volunteer, that might be a title. It doesn't describe what she does. So she's really like core to running the place. So.
This is a very heavy IPS and individuals running conferences sort of room. So what we have three elected officials, the 2024 host, the host of the 23 National Conference, and the incomparable Gary Beckstrom. I mean, it is quite a morning here in breakout room number 4.
This was random too.
I know. All right,
Alan and Lars, I don't think I've met either of you yet.
And I know Beth, but and I know Michael. Hello, Michael. But I'm here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in the U.S. And we are open. My museum has actually been open since the end of last June, so we have been open for a long time through the pandemic, and it has been a wild year. And I don't know what the best answer is for working during a pandemic, but it's been a journey. But I'm excited to meet everyone today and check in with everyone around the world.
Hello everyone, myself Satish from India.
Hello.
Still we are under lockdown, some of the areas, so yet 2 planetariums are opened. We don't know what is going to be in other next month, so just we are waiting for get vaccinated, and some training session, online session, and webinars are going on to just connect the people to planetarium industry and science industry. This is what we are doing. Thank you.
So is your facility still closed?
It's 5 o'clock in the evening.
Okay.
Now it's a monsoon season over here. It's a rainy season over here in India.
Ah, yeah.
Yes.
It's not the rainy season in Germany, but we've been getting a lot of rain. Anyway. Has it been a pretty heavy rainy season for you as well?
Yeah, yes. How about in Germany, the planetariums are opened? How about other country, all the planetariums are opened?
Yeah, I think still limited, not fully open.
Towards Jodrell Bank. But
All right, I think we've got everybody back here, and welcome back. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, of course, but if anybody wants to share the most exciting news that came out of a breakout room, please do feel free. And even I don't know what that exciting news would be, but I do think, unless we have any of our contingent from Hawaii, I do think that Ian right now is the earliest of all of our attendees.
4:30 a.m. here.
Michael, we have someone from Hawaii, actually.
We do.
Yeah.
There's his page. We were in the same breakout room.
Yeah, it started at 1 here, so I'm a little ahead.
Paige, great. Well, see, we are fully global, even on the first day. So that's about as good as it comes.
Mhm.
Also, if we had started just 62 minutes earlier, we would have been able to have a vCon on 2 days simultaneously. That would have been something.
We had an exciting room with people from all over and brand new people, people who are new to the business. And we encourage them to ask questions or ask for help on the chat to keep that open so they could see some answers. And so make sure if people ask for some specific help or direction, you look at that chat and respond.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think we can accurately come up with the number quickly, but with about 80 people in the room, let's say an average time in planetariums at 25, 30 years, there's probably 2.5 millennium worth of planetarium experience in the room right now. It's not to make anybody feel old. It's just like we're seasoned veterans. We've been doing this.
There are thousands of years of experience in this screen.
I'm too late. I already feel old.
I have an IPS question. Coco was in 92. What was 90?
Borlänge, Sweden.
That was Sweden, Borlänge. Yeah.
All right.
That was the first time it was held outside the United States, right?
I think it was.
Yes.
There you go. Trivia challenge.
Yeah, for Sweden.
Oh, no, wasn't there one in Canada before that?
When?
Canada was 82.
82.
Yeah, Canada.
82.
Okay.
Okay.
Outside North America.
There we go. That was the amendment to it. That's going to
where in Canada?
Well, Mexico in 84, depending on if you count that as North America, where you draw your line.
It was Vancouver in 82.
Vancouver in 82 and Mexico in 80.
Yeah, Mexico was in 1984.
84.
Yeah.
Okay.
86 was Tucson.
Okay.
That'll be in 22 and in 24 if you want to prepare for it. That will be one of the late night games. Is how many people can get the entire list of IPS conference sites while under the influence of something. We'll see as the night goes on who gets better and better at it. But not
I
to
wonder
go
if anybody's
too
been
far
to
there.
the mall.
Hmm?
I wonder if anybody's been to the mall. Every IPS.
Well, I just found the Planetarian Journal in my collection. 1972 was the first Planetarian issue, correct? Yes. Before that, it was like the Teachers Planetarium Society or
ISPE, Society of Planetarium Educators.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So 1972 is the IPS, and so that would be a really good challenge to have somebody who's been to all or the first, but that would be a fun challenge.
We'll end up having a perfect attendance award for someone at the next conference.
Fantastic. Yeah.
All right, so not to get too far off, because we want to give Bjorn as much time as possible. It's time for our first official session. And of course, in talking about the history of IPS, that is roughly about half the history of our planetarium field. And so for those of you who are maybe have just not been aware, 2023 will mark the 100th anniversary of planetariums as we know them. And of course, as the International Planetarium Society, it is our role to play a major part in celebrating that in a number of different ways. And our committee leader for that is Bjorn Voss from Germany. Bjorn has the next 45 minutes for an update on the Planetarium Centennial Committee. Bjorn and your team, please take it away.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for the opportunity to present here. It is only 45 minutes, so I do not want to talk at length about what we have done so far, what we plan to do next, but I will give just a very brief update or a very brief introduction for those who are not familiar with the topic. What are we going to do? What is the purpose of all this? I will give a very short update, what is new with our projects. And then actually, we want to present 3 highlight topics about which we want to have a short discussion with all of you, if you like. And these highlight topics are, of course, those where we need, at this moment, some input, some brainstorming from you, if you like, to move ahead with these topics in the best way. So I will be presenting these 3 highlight topics together with not the entire team, but some members of the team, namely those that are working on the Centennial, that's what we call the anniversary, on the Centennial website, which is Daniela Bolz and Cora Braun from Germany and Anna Green from Louisiana, but also from Germany now. And Louisiana is not quite correct, is it?
Nah, Missouri, but that's okay. Lots of people think St. Louis is in Louisiana. It's got a French sound to it.
St. Louis, Missouri. I'm
from Germany now.
Yeah, that's easier. And as well as together with Guilherme Marangel from Brazil, who will also present one of our highlight topics. So let me share my screen. If I can, if I'm authorized to do that, let me first of all find the right window. That was actually not right what I did. So let me share my screen. If I can manage to.
Somebody need to make him co-host?
I think it should work. Let me see. Maybe you can now see my presentation. Can you see my presentation right now?
Yes. Yes. I see a slide.
Okay, very good. Very good. So let me arrange this somehow. So this anniversary is about, of course, 100 years of the planetarium. We have 2 key dates which define the anniversary. The first key date is the first light, or the first presentation rather, of the first star projector, which happened on October 21st, 1923. On this date, we want to start this anniversary. And the other key date is the opening of the very first planetarium. So these were not the same events, but the first presentation was a demo. Then it took more than a year, more than 1.5 years, to actually open the first planetarium, which happened to be in Munich, Germany, on the 7th of May, 1925. So we want to celebrate this anniversary year, which is actually 18 months long, from October 23 to May 25. And this is just the framework. Many of you know about this already, but I will also share some outlines of this. These are the dates that I just mentioned. In the opening event, we want to present some projects that we are working on now and that we hope that we are sure we're going to finish by then, which is a planetarium show, a book that is being prepared right now together with the history of the planetarium working group, and more. Then we will have IPS 2024 happening in Germany for the first time in IPS's history, coming to the home of the business, if you will, of our field, as a central event around which other things, other projects should revolve in this year. And then actually the main event, the biggest of all, should be in May 25, the main event, which is actually, as we would like to define it, the 100th birthday of the planetariums on the 7th of May 2025. In between, we want to do many things, but the important thing also to mention is what is actually the purpose of all this. We don't want to just look back and say, hey, we have 100 years behind us, we did well, but we want to use this as a marketing device for all of us, for all planetariums, for one very simple reason. Many people out there still associate us, think about planetariums as viewing constellations and things that were the usual presentations in a planetarium several decades ago. We want to use this anniversary as a marketing device to communicate on all channels in all possible ways that planetariums have changed. They're even better than some people might think they are. So we would like to use this as a marketing device for planetariums. This is the main purpose. So we discussed this for the first time in 2017 at the Pleiades meeting in here we go again, Anna, not Louisiana but St. Louis. And I have one quote is still in my ear from Mark Subarao: "This should be big," because we want to use it as a marketing device. It is very relevant for all of us. So it would be great if all of you would be interested in this and work with us on this in some way. What we did is we did some brainstorming already 3 years ago at IPS 2018, collected many ideas, and then we shortlisted at another meeting the projects that we actually want to focus our efforts on. And I just list those projects here. The website, I've listed it in red because it is one of the highlights that we want to talk about today in a little bit more in depth. The website already exists in a preliminary state. More about that in some minutes. Here I show a screenshot from the starting page of the website, on which there's also a trailer video of this Centennial to be played. And and besides all these things that we are working on already, or that we have shortlisted as the projects to be worked on by our group, also there should, of course, if possible in any way, projects that are not organized by us, by the group, but by planetariums in their own region or in their own municipalities. It would be great if during the anniversary year, not just the full dome show that we prepare now, or the book that we prepare now is going to be shown or displayed or offered in planetariums, but also if there are projects, small projects in each area. In GDP, the Society of German Language Planetariums, we are working on some such regional projects. It would be great if this could happen around the world. And this is one topic that Guillermo will present and talk with us about in a few minutes. The website is a project that the team of Daniela, Anna, and Cora will talk about in a few minutes. And then the last one, which I'm going to present myself, is actually that besides all these projects, of course, we need to work with the press, with the media, to actually get our message across in the right way. So these are the three things that we want to focus on today. Let me give you a short update what happened so far. Some things that we're also working on. One thing which is a little bit maybe connected to online projects website is we want also to have a planetarium emoji. And maybe some of you have ideas about this. Some of you might be designers. So if you have ideas, let us know. Of course, there are astronomy related emojis like this one or that one or this one or that one, but they all don't fit exactly with the story that we want to tell. So we would like to have a planetarium emoji. It would be great. And yeah, so design ideas are the first step, of course. The website, I already mentioned it, more in a minute. Something we have already good results, or where we're working, where we have achieved a good path forward already, are 2 book projects. There will be a book about the Centennial, the anniversary, with the working title 100 Years in 100 Objects. We're working on this together with the History of the Planetarium Working Group, led by Pedro Raposo at Adler Planetarium, Chicago. And Pedro and his group will be the editors, or are the editors, for this book project. And of course, these 100 objects shouldn't be 100 different star projectors, maybe, but symbolic objects that tell the story of the planetarium in an associative or symbolic way. We also have a likely publisher for this book already, so this project is well underway. Then there's a second book project in the GDP region, a comic book project, which will tell the story of the invention of the projection planetarium in a comic strip way, which is also going to be interesting. In another area, we are also working on video project. So there is already a trailer for the anniversary to be seen on the website. Some short videos talking about the relevance of planetariums have been created by our group, by Marco Alvarez in Costa Rica and others. And we are now preparing work on a full dome trailer to be played in the planetariums themselves during the anniversary. This has some time already. The anniversary starts, as you have seen, in 2 years and some time, 2 years and 2 months about. So we have some time to prepare this already, but this full dome trailer, we want to prepare it for the next IPS conference. Then, of course, most importantly, we are now starting the work on the anniversary planetarium show. This will be a full-length planetarium show talking about the history of astronomy in the last 100 years, together with the history of planetariums. And the work is, as I said, beginning now. The Zeiss Foundation helped us in a major way, providing a good part or very large part of the funding of this project. And we are very, very thankful for them for this support. The show script hasn't been finalized, but the work on this is beginning right now. So with this, I want now to hand this over to our 3 topics. Number 1 is, as I mentioned, the local or regional projects presented by Guillermo Maranghello. Number 2 is going to be the website presented by Anna, Daniela, and Cora. And number 3 is going to be the press and media relations. I'm going to talk a bit about that. And after these 3 short presentations are finished, we want to have a short time in 3 breakout rooms with you. So what we want to do is we want now to present in the next 10 minutes or so these 3 highlight topics, and then we want to invite you to discuss with us for 15 minutes or so in 3 breakout rooms, 1 for each topic, and you should be able to select which breakout room you want to join. So listen closely and please select the breakout room, the breakout session that you prefer. Michael, I'm not sure how the mechanism will work for joining the breakout rooms, but maybe we can explain this once it is time for it. So right now, I would like to hand it over to Guillermo, and I will present the slides. So Guillermo, I think you will have to say to me something like "next, please," when I should advance the slide.
Thank you, Björn. Good morning, everybody. Nice to be here again. So,
Good morning.
Good morning. Next, Björn. We are thinking about how can we engage everybody on that. So we thought about 100 activities for 100 years. Next, please. And thinking about the Centennial, we were thinking that the Centennial is a celebration for the public and for us. Next, please, Björn. So thinking that the celebration are for both public, we have to have fun on that too. So we thought about different activities. Next, please. So we are thinking also in activities that we think they are international, like the IPS 2024. Activities that are global, the opening and the closing. And activities that can be regional, you can do in your country, or local, your own planetarium can have some activities celebrating the Centennial. Next, please, Björn. So the first three events Bjorn has already talked about. They are obvious: the opening, the closing, and the IPS meeting in the middle, right in the middle. But what we would like the help of everybody today is what can we do in the middle of that, between October 2023 and May 2025. That's our question today, one of our questions. Next, please. So as Bjorn said, we need your help. Next, Bjorn. So we thought about IPS satellite meetings. We could do some virtual meetings like this one, but we could think about special topics on that. So I highlighted here some topics that are main topics in the IPS, the EDI, education, or mobile. We would like to ask you how many would be interesting to have, and which topics should we cover between 23 and 25. Next. In the IPS website, we have 25 affiliates and representatives. So it starts to be easy to get to the 100 activities if we have at least 4 from each affiliate or representative. But next one, we want you to celebrate the Centennial with us in your planetarium, in your country, your region. Celebrate the anniversary of your own planetarium. Celebrate the first planetarium in your country, in your state, and we can have much, much more than 100 activities celebrating the Centennial. Next one. Next one.
Again, so, next one.
keep in mind that we want to know one of the questions I would like to have some answers in the breakout rooms are how many satellite meetings and which topics should we cover between during the Centennial celebration. Next one. Okay, so we are planning to have a place to register your event at the web page of the Centennial, so everybody can register the event, so we can collect everybody activities. Next one. Things that we are thinking is that the Full Dome show will be available for everybody, but we would like you to register the first exhibition of the show in the web page. It would be nice to have in our activities. Next one. We are thinking about prize for the best activities. We are thinking about which kind of prize could we offer. And one of the questions for the breakout rooms are we need some ideas for that. So most innovative events, most number of people events, but we would like to collect some ideas on that. Like the Office of Astronomy Outreach from IAU have offered in the last year. And next one, we are also thinking about mini grants. Instead of giving the prize after the event, we can try to have some mini grants to create the event. And ideas for that, please, during the breakout rooms. That's it, Bjorn. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Guillermo. I think at least the Full Dome show is going to be an obvious event that every planetarium can host, can offer. If they present the Full Dome show, it will be easy and should be easy to actually consider this an event of the Centennial celebrations, of course, at the local planetarium. Yeah, so but of course it shouldn't be limited to that. It would be great if there can be additional activities. Maybe also an idea is that the group itself, those of you who want to join us in this effort, can create something like a toolkit or a collection of drafts, template events for planetariums to, yeah, I wouldn't say copy, but to use in a way. Let's continue with the other one, the website. And of course, this is a good transition now, because Guillermo mentioned that there should be a way to register your events, to have them displayed on the website. So this naturally leads us to the question, what other functions and content do we want to see on the website? Anna.
Hey. So I'm not going to do much talking. I'm just here to kind of moderate. But we do have a wonderful website. It is up and running. Currently, as you can see, in English, but also in German, and I saw Portuguese as well. So we'll come back to that thought in a little bit, but I'd like to introduce you to Daniela and Cora, who are going to talk a little more in depth about this. And I believe we need to share screen at this point.
I think I should stop my screen share, because now Daniela and Cora will talk about the website and the further steps, right? So I stop my screen share.
And Daniela, if you want to take us through the website.
Yes, okay. I tried.
Oh, you're muted.
You're mute.
Hang on.
So, no.
No. Is everyone able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, simply it's the home, sorry. The website is a little bit updated, as you heard. We have English, German, and Portuguese now as different languages. Would be glad if there are more, but of course we need someone who translate them, and best of it would be if those people who translate are there to translate further sites too. Now we have these 3 languages, and we are going to have more, I hope, soon. And we have some common pages about planetariums, the history side, but this is only the history you've maybe read on Facebook already, and you could use the shortcuts or scroll down, and in the shortcuts you can see what happened there in 1937 maybe, and then you can go back up. But this is a page I'm working on because there are some other possibilities to present a timeline, and there are so many plugins for the website, and I have to test them now, which are the best for us. But that will need some time. And then we have the project side. I added today the upcoming meetings where you may join us in the next days, especially about the website, of course, and the local projects, the marketing thing. That's when other people will talk about soon about that. Well, that's a small overview, but look at the project side if you want to help, because sometimes we have sessions where you can help or give feedback or whatever you like, and of course legal notices and something. The sponsoring side is just to collect sponsors now. It's a site which is not hosted by me, but it's another site. That's a team Björn organized, which is a sponsoring team. So you don't see much more right now, but I'm working on some things, and I like to show you that. Problem is I can't see my own. There it is. I'm working on an event manager now, and that's one of the things we like to do, as you heard, to collect all the events worldwide in this site. So maybe some of you can be an author to edit something or give informations, and then someone will write them down. And this is just a test site, so that's not official, but just a test for the Centennial site. But I'm hoping to get a good event manager soon, and this one is good, but maybe I find a better one. So we are now working at the event manager and the timeline, and there was an idea about a blog site, but the thing is who will write a blog and who will read it. And so we are not sure if we will have a blog site, same as the informations about social media. It's the same problem. Someone has to read to read it, yes, of course, and to write, of course. And we have so many sites, so we have to think about it if we need it and who is doing that. But for the homepage, I'm done, I think. We have some questions, of course, that still need to be answered. And we need a lot more people who like to help, because as now I'm the only one who's working at the homepage and filling it with input. That's the important thing now, and there I need your help. Okay, that's my part. Maybe Cora will talk about her timeline project now.
Yes. I will also share my screen in a minute.
Okay.
So is everybody able to see my screen?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so I'd like to present an idea to support the Centennial festivities, as we'd like to highlight that planetariums have changed during the last decades and that we are modern and versatile institutions. It makes sense to take a look back in history. And basically the history is strongly driven by technological change, but also by influences from different related media. And in general, one could say that the newer the technology, the less documentation on these systems or ideas can be found. But especially the more recent history shapes the look and the feel of today's planetariums. So we might try to catch up with this knowledge or documentation gap and create some kind of interactive timeline / encyclopedia project for the website. So what you see right now is just a mock-up. It's the first sketch of this idea. Yeah, basically one would have two kinds of timelines, which differ in the level of detail. The first timeline would be kind of basic and covers up the most important milestones in history. Those are, in most cases at least, already covered up well in current literature. Yes, you can click on every event and get some kind of lexicon-styled entry on this, which should also meet scientific standards. So the timeline should be usable for the general public, but also for scientific contexts. Yes, and then each entry would have hyperlinks to other events or planetarium-related terms. And you should also be able to look at these in some kind of encyclopedia-styled interface. Of course, these are just suggestions. Yes, if we go back to the timeline and go to the advanced one, we will have in general more details and more events and more special interest events, and each entry should be tagged with some kind of, or one or multiple hashtags to categorize different aspects of history. These would also be visible with a color code. So you can see every entry has specific topics to deal with. And one could also add some kind of universal history timeline to provide a more general historic context. I wouldn't add entries on these ones, only on the planetarium related ones, but it may be helpful. So The idea is to present the history of the planetarium from multiple perspectives, especially the more recent history, and preserve it in a contemporary way, making it usable for general public and also for scientific use cases. And basically this should be interactive, and one could try first to create some kind of base of events and then add more entries over time. Those might also be contributed by the community members who would like to share their knowledge on specific topics. So yes, this is just the first sketch of an idea. It has a lot of potential for improvement. The design is not fixed, the scale of the project is changeable, and functionalities might need some kind of improvement or usability boost, but I'm happy to hear some suggestions on this idea later in the breakout session. So thank you.
Great. So I'd like to invite you all. I think we'll be doing breakout sessions shortly. So if you have anything to add to the website, especially if you have talents to help Daniela and Cora with what they are doing, come join us, chat with us more, and we'll also be meeting about it tomorrow, European afternoon time. So.
Yeah, I will post the times for that in a minute. But first, let me present very briefly, since we are running out of time already, the last of the three highlight topics. And for that, I will share my screen again. Here we go. And well, this is about the website. Now let me, right. The third topic is press relations, media relations, and marketing. So, of course, we do these projects, a book project, a planetarium show project, and others, of course, to present the anniversary. But of course, the major purpose of the anniversary is to, well, educate everyone out there, the public, about what planetariums can offer nowadays in a contemporary planetarium. And for this, we need media, we need magazines, TV features, newspapers to report on this. And of course, the show, if there's a show opening, if there's a book presentation, then this can be covered, should be covered, will be covered by the media. But we have to steer this in some way to get the correct message across. So we need a kind of marketing concept. Which media do we want to focus on? Which media do we want to engage actively? And important, as I said, is that our core message is not planetariums will be 100 years old or are 100 years old. Of course, this is the well, occasion that we will use, that we will employ, but it is not the core message. The core message is we are modern, come to us. And this needs some thinking to get this message across in the best way. So which magazines, which newspapers, which other media do we engage with, and yeah, to convey our message in the best possible way. What we need is, very, very simply speaking, contacts to the right media. And I want to ask you, who has contacts, for example, to National Geographic or to other big names in the field? And second, we need, of course, media packages to actually work with them in the best possible way, text, image, and others prepared. But first of all, contact. And with this, we can take it to the breakout rooms, I think. So I will stop my screen share again and ask Mike, how can we do it? We have 10 more minutes, if I see it correctly.
Bjorn, the three rooms should be events, press and media, and website. Correct. Okay, they'll be open in about 15 seconds. So if you want to continue to get people ready, we'll go.
Right, I encourage you to join one of these rooms. I don't know how the selection is going to work in 10 seconds.
Everyone will be able to choose the room that they prefer.
Okay. Great. So Guillermo will welcome you in the local projects, regional projects room. I will be there for press and media relations, and Anna, Cora, and Daniela for the website. And we wait some more seconds.
Rooms are opening now.
Okay. Ah, wonderful. So, yeah, wonderful. Just scroll down. I have to scroll down. Just.
Yeah, if you're finding there's a little arrow next to unassigned, if you're seeing that, and that will collapse that and allow you to get to the bottom three.
So thank you all for joining us in the breakout sessions. Unfortunately, we do not have time to report on, well, the results or the short discussion that we had in those breakout sessions, but I would like to share my screen one last time and to invite you all to additional follow-up meetings that we are planning to do on these 3 topics that we've mentioned. Probably you've been made aware of this in your breakout session. So we would like to continue the discussion about the website tomorrow in the well, late afternoon, my time, morning for the USA again, I'm sorry. And in the same way, we would like to continue talking about the local or regional projects in the next week, next week on Monday, and about the marketing concept of press relations on Tuesday in 1 week. So please join us if you can in these breakout sessions. The link is on the Centennial website on planetarium100.org. There you can find the link. Also on this slide, I have the Zoom room number. It is the Zoom room of GDP, Society of German Language Planetariums, that we can use for this. And I will also in 10 seconds or 20 seconds post the link in the chat of the meeting. And with this, I will close. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for joining us in the sessions, and see you hopefully in our follow-up meetings.
Thanks, Bjorn.
Thank you, Bjorn and the team. And because we are now into our break and networking session, if you do have any questions, in particular for Bjorn and the team, we have the next 10 minutes to do so. So feel free to continue to engage on the Centennial. And then at 12:30 Universal, Karu and I will be introducing the 2022 and 2024 conference teams and some short presentations about both of those conferences. So 10 more minutes until that session. And Bjorn, I believe, will still be here in the room in the next 10 minutes. So feel free if you have any more Centennial questions.
I've got a question. So we always think about who our audiences are and what we're trying to communicate when we do SciComm. So in terms of the Centennial, with the audiences we'll be talking to, what's in it for them? What's the benefit to them of being aware or in any way engaged with the fact it is the Planetarium Centennial? How can we make it something that they really want to be part of, rather than something that we feel they should be interested in?
A quick answer from me, but please add your comments as well if you have some. A quick answer from me would be, well, the Centennial is, in my view, the device that we use, but not the message itself. Well, other than, I mean, not the events 100 years ago, the invention of the first star projector. Of course, we can tell the story of the simulation of the universe and how we employ it to teach astronomy, how we employ it to, well, in our minds, explore the universe. But I think the message, as I said, to convey is what modern planetariums can do, how they evolved maybe, but actually the end point of the evolution, what we can do now, and to be a part of discovering the universe in a modern planetarium, which actually is not more than saying, go to your planetarium. So it is maybe not exactly the answer that you were asking for. Basically, I think one can say we want to employ the anniversary to get more people interested in planetariums than before, by making the point that we have changed compared to the kind of presentations planetariums were giving 20, 30 years ago. But please comment on this, everyone, if you have more thoughts.
Yes, I think if we can develop a strong way of giving people tools for publicity in their communities, this could be a good incentive for local planetariums to join join in this celebration. And celebration, not even trying to convince people, but just celebrating who we are now with, as you said, the backdrop of history, but who we are now. And in the past, it's been very difficult to get a unified message of publicity, a hook for publicity in local areas. So if we can provide some package, some media package, or as you said, videos are being produced, that kind of thing, as a package that people can just get there and grab, that's a really good incentive.
Maybe over the next couple of years around the world, different countries, we should find talking heads, so to speak, of people that have been inspired in planetariums over the decades and gone on to do things maybe in astronomy, maybe space flight, maybe in other fields, science, and get them some media material of those people, use that in some of the promotions, maybe in the show, and just inspiration for those. And this might be, you might attend a planetarium in the future and be inspired to something in science or whatever.
Just to pick up on what Mark was saying, if you talk to almost any professional astronomer or astronaut for that matter, they will tell you that their initial inspiration came from visiting a planetarium or museum or, you know, an IMAX film about space or whatever.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be the first thing, it should be the last thing they say. The first thing is, I do this in my life and I'm interested in this, or whatever. And then as a tagline, and I was inspired by planetariums. So it's not so much of a club over the head approach.
Good idea.
I guess the other thing I would add is that most people now, more and more people live in cities. Fewer and fewer people get to see stars. So the planetarium is also where the night lives, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And also a night in uninterrupted by things like Starlink.
Indeed.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I was wondering whether one should have different activities or press packages for the different publics that we want to address. Say not only the general public, but also government or local administrations, that funding agencies and so on. I wonder, there was the question, who are we talking to using this event of the 100 years? So it might be important activity to address other kinds of people, not just the general public who might be interested in the topic, but also the funding agencies and local government, that kind of thing.
If I might just add one other thing, I think we have to worry about being too retrospective in these days, because then we will become thought of as quaint, the sort of thing we went to as children or took our grandchildren to or whatever. I think this, the message focus should be on the next 100 years. Planetariums need it for their survival, and being relevant for the next 100 years is going to be the interesting, it could be the most interesting topic. So I would suggest that there be a forward-looking side to this and not so much retrospective.
Jim, I was just going to say something like that. Yeah, that, you know, people know about planetariums, they know what we've done, but if there's some material showing challenges that related to space and astronomy and how planetariums have helped the public understand and prepare. I guess I'm thinking of like the misinformation around Halley's Comet when it visited back at the beginning of the 20th century. But, you know, and some sort of transition to, you know, what are the challenges we've got for the next 100 years? We've mentioned climate change, but, you know, everybody is worried about the giant asteroid that might kill everything on Earth, or, you know, who knows what challenges, but if you can find some sort of message of your planetarium will be here to help you understand the challenges of the future, how fantastic that would be. You know, they'll plant the seed for return visits.
Well said. Yeah, very good. I often find that I get quite a reaction if I give a public talk and talk about dark energy and just explain to people that something is pushing the universe apart and we don't understand what it is. And that gets quite a reaction. And that's the kind of thing that we're talking about, the problems that we want to solve in the future. And the planetarium will bring you that information as it comes to hand. Yeah, thanks, Jim.
I wanted to contribute to James's suggestion that the forward thinking, not just with using the planetarium, but the whole idea of immersive education. The planetarium has been an immersive environment, and now we are developing and have new ways of having immersive experiences. And that could be a segue for forward thinking. The idea of new designs of planetariums, new designs of visualization. The whole idea of immersive is the emotional learning part.
Just as something for our European friends, maybe. European Space Agency, I'm thinking. With ExoMars is a bit delayed, but heading off next year and arriving at Mars in, I think, May or June of 2023. Back in the Viking days, they put a US bicentennial thing on the Vikings. And there are people can send their names to different things on spacecraft, of course, but it might be too late. But I was thinking if there was some sort of thing representing the planetariums and it went on ExoMars and arrived in 2023 on the red planet, and it sort of got a message like, go to your planetarium and one day you might be here as well.
It might be too late to place a little mini planetarium symbol on it, maybe, but at least in a digital way it should be possible, I hope. But that would not be so interesting, however, than a sticker of sorts on the lander that can then be photographed by itself.
Well, that's what I meant. Something that could be photographed, and if it misses the moon, misses Mars, there are a number of lunar ones coming up. So it might be possible to get something saying, visit your planetarium and one day you might get the moon.
Right. The lunar idea is actually was a company who presented placing a spacecraft in orbit, actually a kind of telescope, I don't remember, privately funded, which would have had a display the outside that it then could have photographed. So on the display would have been your message photographed in orbit. I don't know, maybe something like this will happen on the moon in the next years because there will be many small landers, I think. It's a good point.
It just strikes me that all of these things are great ideas, but we should be doing them anyway, regardless of centenary.
It's right. Just an occasion to get everything a little bit more moving. Yeah.
I think that's the point of seeing what does this kind of allow us to do, which is not normally possible. And one of the things is the worldwide coordination, which is created through this, allows us to do events that would not, and if people know it's not normally possible, it's obviously something special and different, then they're going to have fear of missing out and be more motivated to participate.
Very true.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, a far more spirited discussion in the break than I think we were anticipating, but that was also recorded. We're recording the chat as well, so there will be a lot of different opportunities to be able to pull from this. But our next session is co-hosted by myself and by Karu, as we're introducing our respective IPS conferences. So, of course, Karu, as president now, is going to be the presiding presidential officer for the 2022 conference in St. Petersburg. And then I'll be presiding over the 24 joint conference with Berlin and Jena. So Karu, I will turn it over to you and to introduce our hosts from St. Petersburg.
Yes. I want to share my Can you see my screen? Okay. All right. I want to introduce update IPS 2022 in St. Petersburg, Russia. So IPS 2022 is scheduled for a face-to-face conference from June 26th to 29th in St. Petersburg. As you know, at the present time, due to the influence of the new corona pandemic, we will continue to discuss the event. So IPS 2022, the host is Prime 1 and Mr. Evgeny Godov is the chief of IPS 2022. So the conference program includes the Freedom Festival. It is scheduled for 2 days before the IPS conference. We will be also coordinated holding IMASA and LIPS. They will provide a post-conference tour. It is also under preparation. So conference program is June 22nd and 3rd for a Freedom Festival. It is IPS official Freedom Festival. And 24th and 25th is IPS board members meeting. And June 26th is starting conference, IPS conference 2022 to 29th. And so it IPS 2022 theme is Art and Science in the Sky. All programs will be conducted at Prime 1. Oops. Wait a minute. Oh, okay, yeah. Prime 1 is currently building a website for IPS 2022. Some are available for viewing, but there are not. There are still more under unturned programs. They will open the registration soon. I hope so. And in addition to the regular registration category, we also allow online participation. So and all programs will be conducted at Prime 1. In addition to the world's largest Prime Dome, 3 Prime Domes, multimedia hall and a science library will be provided for presentations. The vendor session will be at the Art Tech Space Exhibition Hall. And barbecue and various events are prepared in the garden hall. You can see some with facilitation on the website. And they are program committee, Evgeny and Anna, Alexander and Odysseus is their main members of IPS 2022. Planetarium 1 recommends many hotels in the center of the city. It is an international hotel from 5 stars to 3 stars. The hotel is located in the heart of the city and is easily accessible by public transportation to Planetarium 1. So they provide PDF and information of hotels like this. And many excursions are also available. Participants can enjoy Russian culture, include old observatories, planetariums, museums, and art gallery, and ballet performance. So we will prepare and publish session program call as well as registration. So for more information or questions, please contact Planetarium 1. So this is an update of IPS 2022. So Michael, if you have any comments or additional information for people, please.
Yeah, we'll make sure that the contact information for Planetarium 1 is in the chat by the end of this session. Mike Smale, if you're able to do that for us, that would be fantastic. Just the contact info for Evgeny and for the team, and additionally for those vendors who are in attendance with us today, thank you. Alexander Adley is serving as the sponsor representative and coordinator for St. Petersburg for next year, and we'll have his contact information in the chat as well. And I see Evgeny's there. Looks like in the car. Evgeny, if you'd like to say anything, please do.
Hello, I'm here, and we're waiting for you in St. Petersburg. Yeah. First, I thought that I'll make the presentation, but everything is good. We have a very nice city with lots of museums. With it's called Cultural Capital of Russian Federation, and one of the main topics of the conference of next year will be additional events. So we will have ballet in planetarium, opera, singers. We will show lots of different shows, and after the elections and after vendor presentation, all day long there will be different shows in planetarium. So we try to inspire other planetarium to make to be a theater, not only the Sky Theater and opera under the full dome with under the stars. It's very beautiful. So we wait for everybody in St. Petersburg next year, and hope to see you, not online. Thank you. I posted the website. It's already working. The ticket selling is still closed, and timetable is still in progress. Yeah, but you can see the main topics of the conference next year. Thanks.
Thank you, Evgeny.
Right, thank you, Karu and Evgeny. And so again, hoping to see as many of you at St. Petersburg for next year's conference. Should be a great time. Now we'll transition over to our 2024 conference host. For those of you, it's usually a bigger deal when the board is able to meet in person and vote on this. But of course, early in the summer, the board voted to accept the bid from Jena and Berlin to host the 2024 biennial conference. And we are very, very excited for what's in store for us in Germany in just a few years. And so it's my pleasure to introduce Anna Green, who is coordinating the joint bid. And for those of you who remember from 2017, she is a glutton for punishment. This is going to be her second major multi-hundreds of people conference. So Anna, take it away.
Thank you. I am going to apologize. I swear I'm not this tech illiterate. I am on my work computer and all the buttons are in German. And I am trying to figure out how to make it do what I want to share my screen. So just a moment, please. Michael, I am so sorry. Could you help me out? I can't get it to not put the thing on both my screens, and then I can't actually share. Would you be able to share for me?
Oh yeah, I'm just trying to get to the mute button. All right, let's do this.
Thank you.
Here we go.
All right, so I am Anna Green. I am representing the Berlin half of the 2024 conference. I'm joined by Stefan Harnisch from the planetarium in Jena. And we would like to invite you to come join us in Germany in 2024. We're excited to be hosting, very honored. And as you know, this conference is going to be right in the middle of the Centennial. And so we're looking forward to sharing that with you in Jena, which is, of course, the city where planetaria were born, and here in Berlin, which is a city famous for its history, and also that has, because of this history, given us 3 permanent planetariums, a mobile dome, and 2 observatories. So we're looking forward to sharing all of that with you in 2024. Next slide, please. So this is just an overview of the conference. This is going to be in June of 2024. The pre-conference activities will start in Jena, just as our field did. And that'll start on June 12th with the Full Dome Festival, the Jena Full Dome Festival, which will be special for IPS that year. And other pre-conference activities, including a 1-day immersive workshop. And then the conference will start on the 16th in Berlin. There'll also be a 1-day LIPS workshop as well on the 16th. So we'd like to invite everybody to come to those too. And just to be clear, I know leading up to this, there was a little bit of confusion. We will not be traveling back and forth between Berlin and Jena throughout the course of these weeks. When we're in Jena, we're in Jena, and then we will provide transportation to Berlin, and then we will be in Berlin. So don't worry about freaking out about having to travel back and forth a bunch in Germany. It's one place and then the other. So we just want to make sure that that is clear and there's no nervousness about that. We're going to make sure you get to where you need to be. So, and the conference will go from the week from the 16th through the 21st, at which point we'll have our post-conference tours. A little bit more about that later. So next slide, please. And I'm going to actually hand it over to Stefan Harnisch at this point, who's going to tell you a little bit more about Jena. Is Stefan in the room? Okay, just kidding. I can also talk about Jena. So, and I will say, it's probably clear to you that I am not a native German by my American accent. I do live here in Germany, and though I am a transplant, Jena and Berlin are both very much at the center of my heart. I love both of these cities so much, and I'm so glad that we're working with Jena as well. The image that you see here is from first light when the dome was being shown to the public for the first time in Jena. This dome was built on the roof of the Zeiss factory. And as you can see, it truly was the wonder of Jena. Everybody wanted to see this. And hopefully, as we all reopen after Corona, this will be what we see as well. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, the pre-conference activities start with the Full Dome Festival. This happens every year. Even with the pandemic, they've moved the Full Dome Festival online. And this is the Jena Planetarium. This is where that Full Dome Festival takes place every year. The building itself also is connected to the dome is obviously the planetarium. To the right of that is the Bauerfeld restaurant and beer garden. And that also has rooms in it that are opportunities for breakout sessions and mingling, of course. Parties are included with the Full Dome Festival and evenings of not just Full Dome documentaries and videos, which of course we all love, but also fun and artful events under the dome too, that will all be included in the ticket for those who choose to attend the Full-Dome Festival. As I mentioned, we will be also having the Immersa workshop in Jena, and that will be the day after the Full-Dome Festival ends. It'll be one day. Originally, the first one was supposed to happen last year in Edmonton, and I'm so sad that it didn't, but we're happy to be able to offer this as well. So this is the beautiful city of Jena. It is mostly home to higher education, so lots of universities. It is very much a city, but it doesn't have the feel of a city like Berlin does. It much more feels like you might be in your hometown when you walk around. Everything's extremely accessible walking wise, but there's also lots of public transportation and lots of entertainment for outside of conference hours. I know that we all love visiting planetariums when we travel, but if you do need a break from planetariums, you can see lots of lush green and mountains. There are so many hiking trails. If hiking is your thing, definitely take the opportunity to go hiking. There's usually a restaurant at the top of every mountain as well when you get to the top for refreshment, which I love. And there's lots of museums and cultural institutions that you can visit as well while you're there. And I go to Jena several times a year and I still haven't seen everything yet. So I definitely recommend joining for the first part of the conference as well in Jena. It is a beautiful city that I cannot say enough how much it needs to be visited. So definitely join us for that part. And then if we can move on to the next slide, we move on to Berlin. And Berlin is a world-class city and home to the world-class Stiftung Planetarium Berlin, or the Foundation of Berlin Planetaria, which, as I mentioned earlier, we have 3 different campuses that are all combined together under the foundation. And you will be having the opportunity to visit all 3 throughout the conference. Now, also, of course, Berlin is full of history. What you're seeing there in the foreground on the right between the trees is the Brandenburg Gate. You may remember that from such historic videos in 1989 as the wall coming down, potentially someone on top of it singing, "I'm looking for freedom." But in the background, the TV tower to the left there, the dome that you see is not one of our planetariums. That is actually the dome on top of the Reichstaggebäude. That is where the parliament sits. So definitely some things to visit. We will be having mid-conference tours that take you through the city, giving you the chance to see the wonderful city that is Berlin. And if we can move forward. So as I mentioned, the time in Berlin is going to begin with that day-long live interactive planetarium symposium workshop. That will be happening at our Planetarium am Insulaner, and that will be newly renovated before the conference. So we're really excited to be able to share that with all of you. And this workshop, we're really excited to be offering both this and the Immersa workshops because it's going to be making it a lot more accessible internationally, we hope. We know that these aren't always easy for everybody to attend every year, and we're hoping that this way we can grow those groups a little more. The conference is going to, of course, kick off with a welcome reception, and you can expect a week of exciting programming and a welcoming, safe, and open environment where you can be yourself, meet new colleagues, connect with new friends, and enjoy exchanging ideas. And of course, we're going to have several opportunities to explore Berlin, as I mentioned. And this is an image actually of our Zeiss Großplanetarium. That is our planetarium that is in the former east part of the city. And this was the first of our buildings to be renovated. It reopened about 5 years ago. And we actually just turned 5 as the foundation last month. So though we are still quite young, don't be fooled. We have lots of combined experience, decades upon decades of combined experience together, especially including Jena in with us. And we also all have experience with hosting. So we are certain that we'll be able to put together a program that you'll enjoy between all of our sites. If you can move quickly to the next slide. As I mentioned, the Planetarium am Insulaner is going to start being renovated next year. And we'll be getting all the latest technology upgrades as well as some upgrades to the building that are needed too. So what you're seeing now are clearly artist renditions of what is to come. Since we don't have the real pictures yet for you, but the building will be made completely accessible as well at this point, getting the upgrades infrastructurally that it needs to. So we are very much looking forward to that. And for any sponsors that may be in the room, you will have the opportunity to install both here and at the Zeitschools Planetarium. So we welcome you to think about what you may want to show off in our domes and to our colleagues within the community. If you can move to the next slide, please. So again, this is the Zeitschools Planetarium. As I mentioned, all three sites we're going through upgrading to the newest state-of-the-art technology in all of them. The Zeitschools Planetarium itself offers not just the 23-meter dome, but also a cinema. The Planetarium in Solana will have the indoor amphitheater, and we have permanent and temporary exhibitions focused on the study of astronomy and space science, available small ones at all the locations, and then our main museum that's at the Untitled Chapter, which we'll come to in a little bit. We also have our intense mobile science theater dome, and that will be set up specifically for the children who we welcome you to bring with you to the conference. And I'll come back to that in a moment as well. If you could advance the slide, please. So this is that Untitled Chapter that I told you about just a moment ago. It has the longest reflecting telescope in the world, still operational. We will have it available for you to enjoy after the mid-conference tours, when we invite you all to come to our evening grill fest and beer garden on the grounds of the observatory. So you'll have the opportunity to explore the observatory at your leisure, to enjoy hopefully a cloudless night of observing, and to most of all enjoy networking and visiting with your colleagues and friends in the coolest location in the world. I absolutely love this building. I love every time I get to be in this building. It is amazing. And we are also currently working on restoring the building to its former site, its former, why is English failing me now, appearance back in its earlier days. So we're looking forward to that as well. And don't worry, all of the renovations will be complete before the conference. If we move to the next slide, this is a peek at our central location. So because we have the three locations, we know that can make things a little complicated. So we do want to have a home base. This is the Estrel Conference Hotel and Conference Center. While we do recommend that you take a peek at getting a room here, rooms start low hundreds, including breakfast, and work their way up depending on what kind of room that you would like. But the rooms are lovely. I did get to tour them. They've just done a bunch of upgrades and renovations as well. And it's a world-class conference center. It's the largest in the city. It also has its own theater for if you want to see a show in the evening, a musical or something, as well as several restaurants on site. And the on-site catering not only provides the catering, we'll be providing the catering for us, but also for it provides for the rest of Germany as well. The food is that good. So they provide throughout Germany and Europe too. If we move forward, we'll take a look at the planned gala dinner location. This is Wasserwerk, and it is the old public waterworks facility. And this is quite honestly, probably one of the most Berlin locations I think we could have found. And I absolutely love it. I love the old industrial feel to it, but it's also got a little bit of the Berlin hipster to it. And just everything about this building, it brings in old Berlin, new Berlin. And I think it's the perfect place to end the evening with a night of delicious food. And also there'll be a DJ for dancing and enjoyment at the end of the evening. So we'll have that as well. Moving forward, just a quick peek. As I mentioned, I absolutely love Berlin. The city has stolen my heart. This is where I plan to stay. And there's so much here to explore. I think I will never get to see it all within the rest of my lifetime. Even if I tried to see something every single day, I'm not sure I could do it. So I'm hoping that we can at least encompass some of the heart of Berlin for you in the mid-conference tours. So here we see the wall. There will be a tour of historic Berlin with the wall. Down at the bottom left, if you are in a more royal feel, we are planning a tour to Sanssouci Palace. One of the best ways to visit Berlin is by boat along the Spree River. And we have a boat tour planned as well, which that's pretty cool. It will leave directly from Estrella and then it will drop you off in the park right by the observatory where we'll be having the Grill Fest, which is perfect. The next slide, just a little bit about the post-conference tours. Right now, what we have planned is an astronomy history or an archaeoastronomy tour going from where you can see the sky disk of Nebra, which is the oldest known documented night sky in the world. So that we'll see that where it was found. Head to the Gozek Circle, which is like a wood henge or Stonehenge of Germany made of wood, and do some observing there. And then the next day we will head to Jena. For those of you who didn't get to attend the pre-conference tour, this will be a chance to check out Jena. For those of you who were by the pre-conference tour and activities, we'll go a little more in depth and give you some time to enjoy Jena then as well. We have another tour planned for Hamburg, visiting the observatory and planetarium there, and on the way back, checking out the astrophysics facilities in Potsdam. This is a world-class facility, and checking out also the beautiful observatory that they have there too, as well as some of the science that they're up to. And since we have been given the opportunity to host this conference, we didn't want to, if you could advance the next slide, please. We didn't want to take anything away from Heilbronn either, because they have a fantastic facility, and we know that all of you were also really interested in seeing Experimenta. This place is insane. The planetarium spins around. This is one of the most amazing feats of planetarium architecture, and everybody should have the chance to go see that as well. So we are working with Experimenta to plan a post-conference tour so that if you want, you can also check out Heilbronn. So we're excited to have that tour added on as well at the end of the conference. And if we go to the next slide, our theme is United Under the Sky. Naturally, for us here in Germany, with the history of the division of Germany, and also particularly with Berlin, with the history of Berlin, the theme makes sense, but also with the pandemic, it really hits close to home, I think, for all of us. There's a good chance, depending on what happens over the next year, that I'm really hoping we'll all get to see each other next year in Russia. If that doesn't happen, or if not everybody can go because not everybody is able to leave their country still, then hopefully by 2024, we will be united together under one sky. And even if we aren't, thanks to things like Zoom, we're still all under the same sky, it just may not be in the same place. And with that in mind, we will be ensuring that we do have the digital portion of the conference available, since we want to be sure that you all can attend even if you can't come in person. We know that these online conferences make everything far more accessible. That's one of our #1 points. We want as many people as possible to be able to attend even if you can't come in person. So there will be a digital element to the conference. You'll still be able to attend even if it's virtually, even if you have to stay home and keep running your planetarium, will still be accessible for you. We do have some early predicted costs. I'm sure that's what you're interested in. Again, accessibility is the name of the game. We want to be as accessible and easy to attend as possible. Our early bird prices that we're looking at right now for IPS members is $375. However, we are also introducing a new student level, and students will be able to register as the early bird level for €250 instead. That works out to about, for those of you thinking in dollars, about $427 American for the early bird, and for students that would be $285. We also are introducing a new institutional member for institutions that have freshly joined IPS. They will get a discount as well to attend. I do want to make a point to say too that we'd like to see these costs come down. We'd like to see them be even lower. We are currently actively seeking local sponsorship as well. And if we achieve those local sponsorships, that will be passed on to you, the attendees. Like I said, we want this to be the most accessible, most attendable IPS to date. So with that, if we can move to the next slide. I had mentioned Intense, our mobile dome, and this is one of the things I'm most excited about. For the first time, we will be offering for an IPS conference daycare. So, and not just daycare, not just a place where your kids are going to play all day. It is a week-long Space Explorers camp. So every day has a different day themed planned. We start with the toddler level at about 3 years old, and we'll go all the way up through teenagers. Working with different various levels. We are looking at ensuring that we have different languages available. We know that for the 3-year-olds, they're not going to speak English or German. We don't expect them to. So we are looking at having those who can speak the language of your children there to ensure that they feel comfortable too, and that they actually do learn something when they're doing the activities. Now, that being said, just like the International Space Station, we all may speak different languages, but we can work together, we can play together, we can eat together. And so the children will be having their shared break times together. We'll be able to play a game of football/soccer together and hang out, watch movies, whatever it may be. And I know personally, when I was a child, I had lots of friends who didn't speak English. That didn't matter. That didn't matter to us. Kids don't care about that. So the fact that they'll have the opportunity to hang out together will be, honestly, I'm a little jealous of what's been planned for the camp. I kind of want to attend it personally myself. So hopefully that will be, oh, thank you. We like our mobile dome too. So hopefully that will be something that the kids can enjoy. And with that, the mobile dome will be in use for the kids. This will be their planetarium that they get to attend throughout the week. And for the teenagers, they will be hopefully working on programming a little something throughout the course of the week. So that we can move to the next slide. So yeah, here we are. We've reached the end. I just wanted to say thank you for your attention, your help, and supporting us. And most of all, just I hope you can tell I am so excited that you all are going to have the opportunity to come and share what is my favorite cities in all of Germany, Europe, the world. I can't wait for you all to come and share with us. And I hope to see you all in 2024. If you have any questions, I'm going to pop an email up in the chat. Feel free to contact me. Also, if you're not super competent with English, I totally get that, living somewhere where I'm not speaking my native language all the time. Feel free to email me however is comfortable for you. That's why we have dictionaries online. I'll do my best so that you feel comfortable. So thank you all and have a great day. Stay safe and hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you to the teams at Berlin and Jena for what's looking to be a really fantastic conference. We do have 10 minutes left in this session. We want to stay on time because we do have some individuals who are going to be joining us for the next session, and we don't want to start too early. So if you do have any direct questions for the Planetarium 1 team, for the Planetarium 1 support team, for Anna and the Berlin Jena team, please take the next 10 minutes and do so. At I'm going to get this right. It's 13:15, should be 13:15 UTC. We have our introductions to the new IPS board members, brief introduction of our existing ones, and then that will be with Martin George. So again, 13:15 UTC. For the next 10 minutes, open for our future conference hosts.
I have a question in general. Is there any list of the participants of this conference?
We should have, and Mike, you'll be able to confirm this, Mike Smale. We do have the registrants list for those of you that went on, signed up on the site, and then we're able to get the links. Okay. I think the officers can meet on that, and we can
Later
probably
on.
set up a list a
Yeah.
little later.
There may be some GDPR related concerns about sharing the information of who's in attendance, but we can investigate that.
Thank you.
I have a question about St. Petersburg and the pre and post conference tours. I was trying to find that on the website. The IPS 2020 website, pre and post conference tours.
Do we still have any planetarium?
2022.
Yeah, if nobody's here from that team, Tony, that website is still a work in progress. So there's still lots of information that has not been added to it yet. And specifics related to tours are one of them. In some of their previous documentation, they mentioned a lot of the local attractions like the Hermitage, the Mariinsky Ballet. Also looking at opportunities for longer form trips to Moscow for people who might be interested in that. But I would shoot a line to one of the folks listed at the bottom of the IPS 2022 website if you have any immediate questions about those tours.
I had a question about for 2022, just with the unknown factor. And we saw with registration, early bird registrations opening and planned in November, but and like register then. But what's the is there plans in place to deal with the situation where there's a good chance we won't be able to travel in time for the conference next year? It's a big uncertainty where we don't know if our borders are going to be open by then fully or what. If stuck in a situation we've registered but then can't travel.
They will have an online option available. So they're having both a virtual conference option and the in-person one. So there will be options if you're unable to travel.
Cool.
All right, if there are no further questions about the conferences, we have 5 minutes. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves. And then at 13:15, we'll hand it over to Martin George for the IPS board update.
I guess I have a little announcement. I am offering my solar system class for teachers this fall, so and it does have a virtual option. So if you know of any middle to high school teachers who teach astronomy, in the U.S. I have some tuition scholarships for them, courtesy of NASA. So if anybody knows a teacher that would like to improve their content knowledge about the solar system, have them give me a call. I'll put my email and the website in the chat.
So did anybody do anything fun over the weekend?
I went camping, saw the actual Milky Way.
How far away? Mark, how far did you have to travel for that from Buffalo?
Down about 2.5 hours south is Allegheny National Forest, which actually contains Cherry Springs Park. If some people may have heard of that, that's actually the darkest sky site this side of the Mississippi River. We were actually going camping to ride our motorcycles around this really cool trail system they have there. But yeah, at night it was just really wonderful to see Scorpius and the Summer Triangle and the Milky Way working its way up through them.
I love Allegheny National Forest. It is beautiful down there. I'm very jealous. I haven't made it there yet this summer, but hopefully in the next month or so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's we got good weather too. It's a little bit hot, but we didn't get rained on, so gotta love that when you're camping.
So the sky looked just like a planetarium?
I hate to tell you guys this, but the real thing is still better.
Yeah, that's the winter triangle you were talking about, though, wasn't it? Not the summer one.
Well, for you, it's upside down, so it's a triangle.
Ah, right.
Is there a special name for an upside down triangle?
I was wondering whether somebody would ask that.
Well, really, Martin, it's only half a triangle anyway from here, isn't it?
It's an angle try.
So the last point. Collaborations update. We stopped when?
The collaborations update will begin in about 45 minutes. We have two sessions before then. We'll be introducing the new board member candidates momentarily, and then also hearing from some of the newest IPS affiliate, geographical affiliate members.
Oh, okay, I forgot, yes.
All right, it is now 13:15 UTC, and as Martin will be able to tell you, we're very excited to have 9 candidates for the 4 board positions that are up for election this year. Of course, Martin George is one of our board members, also is the head of our elections committee, and I'll turn it over to him for the introductions and for our new board member candidates. Martin?
Thanks very much, Michael. Thank you. Before we go on to the candidates for the election, I'd just like to mention that I think we have all of our current board members online here at the moment. So before we talk about the election itself, I'll just get everybody to say hello to make sure everybody knows who you all are. And we'll do it in alphabetical order of zone. Susan, would you like to say a quick hello from Africa? You there, Susan? I thought I saw her online. We might come back to her later on. Sumito Hirota from Japan as one of our Asian board members. Sumito, you're around? You're here?
Yes.
Hi, Sumito.
I'm here. Yes.
Very good. Say hello to everyone.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
And Jinsu, of course, I'm sure you're still with us, Jin, our other Asian board member from Beijing, China.
Hi, hello, Martin. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Jin. And we'll move over to Europe now. Jiri Dusek, would you like to say a quick hello?
Hello, everybody from the city of Brno.
Oh, hello. Hello.
Hi, Jerry. And our other European board member, of course, is Bjorn Voss, who we've heard from quite a bit this evening, which is wonderful, about the Centennial. Bjorn, you're still with us, of course?
I am, but unfortunately, I will have to leave in a few minutes. I'm very sorry for that.
Okay, thanks for letting us know, Bjorn. And now from Latin America, Alex Sherman. Alex, are you with us at the moment? Maybe Alex is not here. Okay. And from North America, first of all, Dana Thompson is with us, I'm sure. Dana, would you like to say hello?
Yeah, hi everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
And sorry, Dana.
You'll be hearing from me a little bit more later when we talk about the collaborations update, but hi everyone.
Great, excellent. And finally, Michelle Wisterson also from North America. Michelle.
Hi everyone from Wyoming.
Hi. Okay, so that's great that we've got all of our board members. Unfortunately, Susan, are you there at the moment? Did you return? No, not with us. Okay, we better move on though, because we have that great news that Michael mentioned to us all. We have 9 candidates standing for election in the upcoming board member election. I'll just give you a very quick summary of what's happening. There's going to be an election of 1 board member in each of 4 continental zones: Africa, Europe, Latin America, and North America. The board members whose terms are expiring at the end of this year: Jinzhou in Asia, Jiri Dusek in Europe, Alex Sherman in Latin America, and Michelle Wisterson in North America. However, all were eligible for re-election. Now, I'd like you all to note that the definition of North America, just as a reminder, is the USA and Canada. Mexico and Central American countries, together with South America, are designated as Latin America. And I'm mentioning this for a particular reason that will become apparent very soon. So from this point, nominations closed on August the 1st. From this point, we're about to hear a few words from each of the candidates in these zones. A reminder that only people who are within the continental zones will be voting for people within those continental zones. Voting will begin on September 30th at 12 hours Universal Time. And candidate statements and photographs will shortly appear on the IPS website. I'm going to give each of the board member candidates a maximum of 3 minutes to speak to us. And I'm going to do it in alphabetical order of continental zone and alphabetical order of family name. And so Asia is the first one up, and Dr. Debbie Prasad Duari from the MP Birla Planetarium in Kolkata is one of our candidates for the Asian zone. So would you like to speak for a few moments to us? I know you were here earlier.
Dr. Duari, you're muted right now. You will need to unmute yourself.
That's the problem.
Yeah. Now, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, right. Okay. Hello, good afternoon and good evening to everybody around in this meeting. Thanks to Dr. Martin George, the fellow nominees, and all IPS members for giving me this opportunity to address at this important meeting. In case of Asia, unlike Japan and China, in most Asian countries, planetariums are for general public and students, and not in great numbers also. Newer planetariums are being commissioned, but still there is a huge gap between the demand and supply. The response of the public and students are very encouraging. As a member of the MP Birla Planetarium team, I myself can say that we have experienced an ever-growing number of visitors in the last 2 decades, 3 decades. Started in 1962, it has catered to almost 27 million visitors, which I think is some sort of a record or something. And before the pandemic, the annual footfall was 650,000 a year. This gives me the motivation that planetariums can play an immensely important role in engaging people in science, technology, heritage, and cultures through astronomy. But there are about 50 planetariums in India with a population of 1.32 billion. Other neighboring countries do not have them in sufficient numbers as well. So we need more for not only shaping the young minds, but also to build a consensus on scientific temper and attitude needed for today's technologically driven human society. International Planetarium Society is an unique global agency which not only provides a platform for the planetarium community, but also ensures intense collaborations, exchange of ideas, technological exposures to all its members. Attending the IPS meeting gives one a sense of purpose and direction also. Innovations and in-depth analysis discussed and showcased are a learning experience, at least for me, and I hope for many professionals. In this age of globalization and international cooperations, free flow of knowledge and ideas should play a very important role in reaching out to the people in a much bigger scale. And definitely the COVID pandemic has also thrown up a new challenge. So to reorient and innovate the planetarium business in a more meaningful and inclusive way, serious discussions, deliberations, and actions are needed. And IPS can take the leadership in this respect and try to engage larger number of countries and their people. My aim is not only to learn from the activities, but also to take part in initiatives which will ensure a better understanding of the modalities, objectives, and importance of a planetarium in the society. Dialogues with governmental agencies, private enterprises, and also with the general public can be ensured in a structured way if the efforts arise out of global collective initiative and collaboration. In this respect, IPS can play the leadership role, and I personally believe that given an opportunity, I'll be able to actively participate and express my ideas for a comprehensive, productive approach to the cause globally and in the Asian countries in particular.
Thank you very much. I'll have to stop you there, I'm afraid. Your 3 minutes is up, but thank you very much for that. And now we'll move on to the second board member candidate for the Asian Continental Zone, and that is Dr. Jin Zhu of the Beijing Planetarium. Jin, would you like to say a few words?
Okay, thank you. So now this year is my 40 years in the field of astronomy. And my first 10 years was in astronomy department in universities from undergraduate to PhD. And then I spent 11 years as a professional astronomer in the National Astronomical Observatories of Chinese Academy of Sciences. And so I became the board member of Chinese Astronomy Society from 1992. And also I attended almost all the IAU General Assembly since 1994. And my personal research interest is small bodies in solar system. And also currently I'm the member of IAU working group on small body nomenclature and IAU working group on near Earth objects. And astronomy is my most favorite hobby for me during this past 40 years. And also from 1998, I became a very dedicated amateur astronomer because I make the virtual observation of meteors and also astronomy photograph. So I joined the IPS family since 2002 when I went to the Beijing Planetarium from the observatory and became the curator of Beijing Planetarium. That's 2 years before the opening of the new building of Beijing Planetarium in 2004. So the experience for me in the planetarium made me realize about the importance of astronomy education. That's not only for encouraging the more young students to become the professional astronomer, but also it's very important and very unique for planetarium to improving the science literacy for general public. So we set up the Chinese Planetarium Society. That's in the name of Planetarium Working Committee under the Chinese Association of Science of Natural Science Museums in 2007 with the help from IPS. And then we successfully hosted the 22nd International Planetarium Societies Conference in Beijing Planetarium in 2014. And I realized that IPS and the conference of IPS are very, very different from those IAU conference I'm familiar with. So I like the environment of IPS very much because of the during the conference, we meet with vendors and planetariums with the most updated technical hardwares and softwares, and always the new shows from the different planetarium. So also I attended almost all the IPS conference since 2002, and was the IPS council member before this year, before 2019. And
thank you, Jen. I'm afraid we'll have to stop there. I'm afraid the 3 minutes is up, but thank you very much for that. Okay, so they are our two Asian board member nominees. We'll now cross over to Europe, and we'd like to hear now from Jiri Dusek. Jiri, would you like to say a few words?
Hello, everybody, again. So I am a director of Brno Observatory in Planetarium since 2007. And I am one of the main organizers of Full Dome Festival Brno since 2015. By the way, our last Full Dome Festival just ended a week ago, and it was probably the first such kind event in Europe. So I'm a member of the IPS last 15 years, and I have to say, my first IPS conference in Alexandria, Egypt, opened my eyes and inspired me to completely transform our planetarium. During my second conference in Baton Rouge, we decided to install a digital planetarium, and still we are satisfied. I met a lot of new friends. The IPS activities inspire me, my colleagues, and I would like to inspire the IPS too. It will be a great honor for me if I am able to continue to help the International Planetarium Society in the years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jiri. That's great. And now for our second candidate for the European Continental Zone, I'd like to invite Anna Green to speak to us. Anna.
Thank you. So, moin, bonjour, buongiorno, privyet. Hello. I'm honored to be here standing as a board candidate for Europe, and I want to thank the British Association of Planetaria for nominating me. This is a role that I have hoped to serve in for quite some time now. First, before it was the board member title, and now as the board member. I've been an active member of the planetarium field for 11 years. I've been a member of IPS since 2010, starting first institutionally and taking over with my own membership since then. I have in those years worked in portable, permanent planetariums, everything from optomechanical only, full dome, digital only, hybrid planetariums, big, small, you name it. I've had experience with all of them now, and have seen the unique, not just challenges, but really beneficial points that all of these different kinds of domes have. And I know that each one is unique and has its own needs, and that's something I hope to be able to support. The planetarium field community isn't just part of my job, it's my passion. Working with all of you is my passion, and even more so, showing our visitors the wonders of the universe is my passion. And the thing that I love most about this community is that we work together to lift each other up and support each other. And that's something that I want to continue helping with. Case in point, if it weren't for IPS, I wouldn't be standing here for Europe right now. It's because of IPS that I live in a country that I love, that I do a job that I love in an amazing city. And I want others to have that opportunity as well. I want everybody who is thinking about being a member of IPS or who becomes a member of IPS to have the wonderful opportunities that I've had. Everybody should have that chance. And it's for these reasons that I want to step up and give back. So if you elect me to serve as your European representative, I promise that I will first and foremost listen to your concerns, your ideas, your questions, and make sure that you're heard. First and foremost, that's what I'm here for. I promise to work closely with my fellow board members, the affiliate representatives, and IPS member countries who don't yet have an affiliate organization. I want to push to make IPS as accessible as possible. That is a huge, huge point for me. I will strive to increase IPS's European membership. I look forward to continuing collaborating to set up mentor programs for new members. And I want to help work through any concerns regarding potential barriers because of languages, including communicating with all of you in your primary language if you would prefer that. I do speak French and German best. I have a little bit of Italian, a very little bit of Russian, but as I mentioned previously, that's what dictionaries are for. So please feel free to communicate with me how you feel best. I have been involved.
We'll have to wind it up in a few seconds.
Okay, well, my statement will be online, so I hope you'll read it, and I hope that you will let me be your representative. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna. That's great, and thank you for those two speakers from Europe. I'm now going to move on to Latin America, and we're going to move to Bogota, Colombia, for the first candidate for Latin America, Carlos Molina from the Bogota Planetarium. So Carlos, would you like to say a few words, please?
Hello, everybody. I'm Carlos Molina. I'm the head of the Planetarium of Bogota. I'm a physicist, and I have a MSc degree in astronomy. I met this MSc in Brazil, and in this beautiful country, I knew many of my actual colleagues in Latin America. During the past decade, my career has been devoted to divulge and teach astronomy and physics in universities, planetariums, and with local associations around the country. I work in Planetarium of Medellin for 5 years, like director. And in this period, I collaborate with some of the most notorious associations around the world, such the IPS, the IAU, and the Planetarium Association of South America. We promote the creation of the Education Task Force for the OAD of the International Astronomical Union here in Colombia and in the Andean region in South America, and we promote the first CAP communicating astronomy with the public in Latin America in CAP 2016. For the past 5 years, I was the National Outreach Coordinator for the Office for Astronomy Outreach of IAU. And I work with many of my colleagues around the world to promote astronomy in this region. I am a content producer too, and I produce a show, the second show, free for planetariums, is Fronteras. I don't know if you know it, but this show is available for everybody. It's translated to Portuguese, English, Japanese, and Swedish. At this moment, the show is being performed in more than 20 planetariums around the world. On the 100th anniversary of the planetarium and the recent incorporation of the Association of Planetarium of South America as regional member to IPS, I'm very interested in support new projects in South America region to promote a social, integrated, and high qualified development facilities, creating interchange networks for astronomy and technological knowledge. And I'm very interested in generating and inspiring new opportunities for careers of new planetarians, aligned with the values of the IPS, and to show the big creativity that is irradiated from our countries in Latin America. Thanks for the nomination, and see you at the next meeting.
Thank you very much, Carlos. And we'll now move on to our second nominee for Latin America, and that is Milagros Vaguez from Cancun in Mexico. So Milagros, would you like to say a few words, please?
Hi, Martin. Hi, everyone. I am Milagros Vargas, Director of the Planetarium of Cancun. I am very happy and excited to be here with you and to officially introduce myself as IPS board member candidate. let me tell you a little bit about me, about myself. My approach with planetariums began with, I assume, in 2016, the direction of Cosmo Planetarium in Mexico, which I put me in contact with other professionals in the community through organization as the Mexican Association of Planetariums and the International Planetarium Society. After almost 5 years being in charge of Cosmo Planetarium, I was entrusted with the direction of another planetarium now in Cancun. Some of you I have the pleasure of meeting at the IPS conference, others for my Full Domes show. It is important to say that one of my great interests is cultural astronomy. And in addition to this, I saw the need for high quality Latin American productions. That is why I decided to start and create my own production company. And together with an interdisciplinary group of professionals, I made 3 Full Dome shows: Mayan Arc Astronomy, Mexica Arc Astronomy, and I-Earth. The first film alone, narrated in 13 languages, has been distributed free of charge to more than 250 planetariums in 43 countries around the world, and has won awards at international festivals, including the IPS Full Dome in Toulouse. Directing these 3 films has allowed me to create partnerships with other planetariums, as it was in the Chile Planetarium, Beijing Planetarium, the ESO Supernova, among others. My experience in planetarium, and specifically my relationship with several planetariums in Latin America, has made me sensitive to the potential challenges and needs to our planetariums. As a board member of the IPS, I will contribute to strengthen the ties between planetariums in Latin America and promote collaborative work among us. Also, I will seek the necessary synergies to promote the strengthening of the technical capacity of the planetariums, operational think, work, joint, and collaborative training programs. My main objective is will be work in a coordinated network that seeks to improve the strength of our institution. What else? Last year, I participated in the IPS virtual conference in the panel of indigenous astronomy. This experience culminated in a paper that represents a contribution to the treatment in planetariums of the astronomical knowledge of our native peoples. And I have also collaborated.
We'll have to close in a moment, Mila. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I just have to be fair to give everyone 3 minutes. So thank you for that. That's great. And what I'd like to do now is move on to our final continental zone, in which we are holding an election for 1 board member, and that is North America. And I'd like to now invite Derek Demeter from the Immobilia Planetarium in the USA to speak to us.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for your attention. And of course, thank you so much for this nomination. I wanted to talk a little about kind of my past history. So basically, I've been part of IPS for over 10 years. And one of my passions is bringing people together. This past pandemic, we've been completely closed. And one of my things was taking a weakness and bringing a strength to it. So I love being able to collaborate with people all around the world. But one of the things I wanted to focus on was bring people together to learn about things that they might not necessarily know too much about. So I worked with several members of the planetarium community in our indigenous populations to talk about Native American astronomy. We worked with the Imiloa Planetarium to bring ideas of Polynesian and oceanic cultures. And I also worked with other members in the organization to collaborate and bring on the ideas of our African-American astronomy knowledge as well. So one of my passions, especially in regards to North American region, is the idea of bringing people together. And one of those, of course, was the recent National Planetarium Conference in 2017. It was one of my favorite conferences outside IPS, obviously. Because we got a chance to connect with people I've never had the chance to. This is a big region. We have 7 regionals, in the United States alone. And being able to meet all these people, I exploded with ideas. And I think it's important that as a representative for this region, we get a chance to connect with people we don't normally get a chance to connect with. Even though we're the way IPS does the regionals, one of the things that I want to work on is I got a chance to meet a member of the of Tobago at the national conference, and he hasn't been able to attend any conferences before that. And I was thinking, there's very few people in the Caribbean area, which is technically North America, that we haven't been able to reach. And I want to do that. I also want to work with our people down south, especially Mexico and Central America, to work and build those collaborations. Because in reality, you know, we have over 300 members in North America, but there's a lot of areas to still explore and to connect. So I want to thank you all, and hopefully I get a chance to work with the board on the potential of connecting and bringing more people together and celebrate our human knowledge, collective knowledge to our world. So thank you so much for your time, and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Derek. That's great. And we'll now move on to our second candidate for the North American Continental Zone, and that is Carissa Sidor from the Buell Planetarium in Pennsylvania, USA. So Carissa, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Yep. So my name is Carissa Sidor. I'm the producer at the Buell Planetarium at Carnegie Science Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I am truly honored and really thrilled at the opportunity to be nominated for the board. I started as a volunteer here at the Buell Planetarium at age 19, and that young, impressionable age quickly got ensnared by planetaria and kind of everything that they do, and seeing all the potential there was there. So I kind of never looked back. And I've worked various positions here in the Buell, from part-time and full-time presenter to program production assistant to assistant manager, and my current role, which is producer. So I oversee all of the production responsibilities and working to develop content. And of course, taking care of the technology that we have here. We just upgraded last fall, so that was a labor of love for many years, and overseeing all of the unruly computers that we get to deal with in our dome. So I'm also a member of GLIPA in the Beyond the Lakes region, even though Pennsylvania technically does touch a Great Lake. We are strongly repping Beyond the Lakes. I love to attend the GLIPA conferences whenever possible. It's a great way to connect with colleagues. I also really love attending the live interactive planetarium symposiums. I've been to several of those, and currently I'm working to, hopefully, fingers crossed, host LIPS this year here in Pittsburgh in September. So we're hoping that things can work out for us this year. Obviously, coming out of the pandemic is a tricky time. And I've also been a member of IPS for many years. I attended the IPS conference in 2018 in Toulouse. And it was kind of my first chance to meet my colleagues from around the world. And since then has really shown to be an invaluable experience. The planetarium community really means so much to me. It has given me a huge sense of purpose, and it has allowed me to connect with colleagues and make some of even my closest friends. And I really wish to encourage all planetarians, especially newer planetarians, to join IPS and participate in it. This is an amazing opportunity to serve the community that has given me so much, and I'm excited at the opportunity to give back. I am more motivated than ever right now to, join in with my colleagues and help us face pandemic recovery and what planetariums might look like in the coming years, because a lot is uncertain right now. So it is better time than ever to kind of join together. And I look forward to working with my colleagues in North America and around the world to bring some new perspectives to the organization. I really hope to amplify voices in our community that may have been marginalized historically, and really focus on inclusivity, diversity, and equity. Those things are very, very important to me. And I hope to bring those to focus to organization-wide. So I really just want to look to create a safe and welcoming and beneficial environment for all IPS members. So thank you all again for the opportunity and the nomination.
You are muted, Martin.
My apologies. Right. Thank you, Carissa. And we now move on to our final candidate for the North American Continental Zone, and that is Michelle Wisterson of the Casper Planetarium in Wyoming. And Michelle, I understand you would like to share your screen, so we'll start your time now.
All right. First of all, I want to say we have some fabulous candidates for the positions for IPS board members, and it seems like we all have very much of a same opinion of trying to bring voices to the table. So my name is, as he said, Michelle Wisterson, and how do we advance in PowerPoint? I guess I don't get to do that.
Spacebar or the right arrow, Michelle? Try either of those.
Spacebar is not working, and neither is the right arrow. Okay, well, I'll talk about what I would have shared. Let me see, maybe if I can get out of this. No, I can't even get out of this. Stop share. Okay, so I've been a member of the IPS community for quite a long time. I was a director of the Casper Planetarium for 20 years, and during that time I was able to build a staff of junior planetarians. They came from the high school through grants and by having them start volunteering when they were 14 years old. And some of you may have seen some of the shows that we produced. One of them won an international competition called Exoplanets. We did a lot of outreach into the school districts and to the community from preschool all the way up to high school. And while I was working at the planetarium, we were able to build a small observatory. I've been involved with the cultural exchange. I was selected to be the American Planetarian in Italy, and because I had such a wonderful experience there, I then went on to host David from Italy and Guilherme from Brazil. And from both of those, from all three of those experiences, I gained not only a cultural knowledge and appreciation for people outside of my sphere, but I still have very strong relationships and friendships with the people that I met. I retired from the planetarium June of 2020, but now I use my telescope and I do star parties and use the knowledge that I gained while working in the planetarium to teach under the real night sky. I've been an affiliate member of IPS for many years, and I've served on various committees and presented at IPS conferences. I am currently a member of the IPS Education Committee, and I am working with Alan Gould, learning how to become the webmaster for IPS right now. I have been a board member for the past 2 years. I've enjoyed working with other board members and expanding my knowledge of how IPS works. If elected, the thing that I am going to say that many other people have said is that we come from diverse backgrounds and opinions, and it's always important to bring all of us together because we learn from each other and the IPS community grows as we continue to do so. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Michelle. We'll have to stop there. I did give Michelle an extra half a minute or so because we had that technical problem with her screen sharing. But thank you once again. Thank you for all candidates who have spoken this evening / today / this morning, wherever you are. It's great to have you all standing. And I would like to just remind everyone before we close this session, I know we are a few minutes over time already. In Africa and Oceania, there are no elections this year. There are only those 4 continental zones. We are electing 1 member in each of those zones. But I'll give you a bit of advance notice. Next year is going to be a big year for elections in the IPS because other people who were initially elected for 3 years in their continental zones, their terms will expire at the end of 2022. And toward the end of 2022, we'll also be having our officer elections as well. And I can assure you the elections committee and myself will be eagerly searching around for people who would like to serve IPS in that way. And there'll be plenty of reminders to vote as well, of course. So voting for the board member elections will begin at the end of September. We look forward to receiving your votes from all around the world for within your continental zones. Thank you very much, Madam President, officers, board members, and IPS members who are here today, this evening, this morning, for being in this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin, and thank you to all of our board members, current and prospective. So again, we'll be, Martin, just once again, we'll be opening up elections at,
sorry, at
when do elections open for us?
End of September. Yes, but you will see the statements and all the lovely photographs of the candidates on the website coming up fairly soon now. I have received statements from them all and photographs from them all, and I'll be looking forward to the assistance of all of those involved in the website to get those up as soon as possible for you.
Thank
Martin, did you want to remind people who's eligible to vote for who? You're not voting for all of these candidates, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, that's something I mentioned a few moments ago. Just to clarify, though, where you have candidates standing in your continental zone, it's only people from within that continental zone who are voting for those people. So you get to vote once. You don't get, if you're in Asia, you don't get to vote for the North American candidate, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Thanks, Dana. Okay.
Thank you again, Martin.
Thank you, everyone.
Our next session, probably it's a little abbreviated as it is now, but I don't think that'll be too much of a problem. If we need to, we'll go a little bit into our collaborations. But in the past year and a half, we've seen 3 new affiliates join IPS. They are the African Planetarium Association, known as APA. There is the Arab Planetarium Society, APS, and then the Association of Planetariums in South America, APAS. And we'd like to invite any representatives who'd like to make just a brief hello and a welcome to the rest of the community, starting with the African Planetarium Association, if we have any APA representatives here. And that affiliate representative is Susan Owen. And I didn't see we had Susan here. But of course, I'll very briefly just state, having been to the first 2 APA meetings, they are doing fantastic work, incredibly excited to see what's coming out of the African continent, and Susan and her team are doing a phenomenal job. So please do reach out to them any way that you can help. Really a growing and prospering community there in APA. Next will be the Arab Planetarium Society. Marwan, I believe we have you on here. If you'd like to say a few words.
Yes. Hello to everyone. Can I share a short presentation? It's better maybe to see picture rather than just talk, maybe.
Marwan, you are set and ready to go. Please share.
Okay, I hope you can see now the slide. I will go very, very quickly. Thank you very much for accepting us as a new, a very new society that actually looks after getting all the Arab planetariums close each other to discuss the issues. Thank you very much. Let me just show you something about the APS. So we are APS, the Arab Planetarium Society, which was only established about 10 months ago. Actually, it is As you see here, we have actually below we have also board. This is the board that was elected just after when we started. Here are the board, the establishment board, and from them there's the management board here. You can see also Alexander. Everyone, most of you know Alexander. He is actually vice chairman. And I know you know maybe Dr. Jamal. He is the director or the chairman of the African Society, Planetarium Society. That's myself, the chairman of the society, and here are our colleagues. Okay, let's go very quick. Not go that. Okay, I will not talk about the objectives. You know, just let me just show you who we are. You know, the objectives for all similar societies. Now, this is the members. We have actually now maybe about 100 members, and we see them actually raising very, very rapidly because of the activities that we do. I will show you some of these activities actually. Here is the first forum that we have launched on April 2nd this year, only 7 months after establishment of the society, where we collected all planetariums in the Arab world. We say the Arab world, this is actually where the Arab world, here is Africa actually, and this is part of Asia, the Middle East. So the Arab world is actually spread in both the Middle East, the West Asia, and north of Africa. And you see here the time zone, because we put that everyone so knows when the activity is starting. And in this activity, we collected all of the planetarians in the Arab world. Everyone spoke about 5 or 10 minutes about his or her planetarium and their activities. It was really great because it was the first time we ever been in one room or screen or like something like this to discuss. Here is all of the. I show you something in Arabic by actually by on purpose. This is our language, the Arabic, and most of all of us we speak Arabic. Also, we speak some English, and all activities are in Arabic, to be honest. And this is our letters, if you are interested. Okay, these are the latest activities we did in the last month. Every month, the first Monday every month, we have an activity by which we invite one of the experts, one of those who make planetarium shows, one of those who do some activities, sometimes Arab, sometimes even international English speaking. So we invite them now in platform of Zoom as you know. So these are some of them. I will just go. This is what some of our activities and the attendees who attended our shows. I will go very quick only to show you our planetariums in the Arab world. These are just collection from everyone here from all of the countries. This is from Egypt. You see some planetariums in Egypt. In Egypt, it is from Arabia, Saudi. I'll just go very quick. I don't want to take long time. Planetariums in Iraq. Here you see some of them actually as well. Planetariums in Jordan. Here there are some planetariums. Actually, to be honest, most of planetariums they're very new planetariums and very large planetariums. We talk about 18, 20 meters, but most of them need actually maybe reconstruction or just reconstructing, or sometimes just maintenance. This is a point that we as a society we are trying to help them, to connect them with the companies, with the vendors, with the IPS as well, so they can benefit the latest technologies. Here is I don't want to jump one. This is Jordan, and here is Kuwait planetariums. This is a great one, actually very large complex of astronomy and science. This is Oman, this is Qatar, this is here Palestine. You see some planetariums. Unfortunately, there is no fixed planetariums, only small planetariums, mobile planetariums. You see, this is actually Syria. Maybe the same idea about Syria, you know, the situation in some of Arab countries, you know, very well, I believe, unfortunately. We see also here Algeria, some Algerian planetariums. Here also we see Lebanon. Also, there is no fixed planetarium in Lebanon. And here we see in Tunisia, there is some fixed and some mobile planetariums. Here you see in Morocco, I think this is the last one. You see also here there are 2 or 3 fixed planetariums and some other iMobile. This is one of the characters of the planetarium called Zeradi. He got his small planetarium, I guess this one, yes, and he is doing great job. Great job in the planetarium. I just wanted to put him like this, and just would like to thank you for being with us to listen us to for 5 minutes talk about the Arab Planetarium Society and to see some of our planetariums that really need a lot of development. We need to get the planetarians together to help them. So as affiliate to the IPS, we are very proud actually to be with the IPS, and we expect actually a lot of assistance from you to know what to do, where to go, and when we want to develop some of these planetariums. And thank you very much, Michael.
Mohan, thank you so much for quite an inspiring update, to say the least. And then finally, if we have any representatives from the South American Planetarium Association, APAS, we have a few minutes for that as well.
Hello, well, I not prepared for this presentation officially, but I like to share with you some of the advances in the APAS association. This association have almost 20 years at the region. First, their name was the Association for South Cone of Planetariums, but some years ago changed for South American Planetariums. This year we will have our meeting in December, for second week of December in Bogota, precisely in my planetarium. Have almost 80 planetariums at the area, but we are working to work with planetariums at the north of South America, have more representation in the south of South America at this moment, and this is a very interesting moment for planetariums in our region, because have many projects in Chile, in Argentina, here in Colombia, almost 5 of 7 planetariums are projected for the next 2 or 3 years. And I think that the real force of our planetariums is in work with the communities. So this precise moment of the pandemic was very difficult for us, because many action was represented in the visits to the planetarium, and many of our budget was of that visits. So have a new reconfiguration in our planetariums too. Here is my colleague Guilherme Marangelo, that many of you can know, promotes a largest planetarium exhibition past year. And I think that the APAS is a new association and an association that is built the the next decade of their existence. I think that this is some of that I can say for you of APAS. I'm not prepared for this moment, but I took the voice for our association. I don't know if Guilherme want to say any more.
That's great, Carlos.
Carlos, thank you for the APAS update. And so again, IPS continuing to grow, and we're very, very happy to have the new affiliates, and of course, to have the community be able to support those affiliates in their growth as well. Our final session today is about our collaborations. Of course, IPS is not an island in and of itself. We do collaborate with a number of other organizations around the world. And we have 4 such organizations and collaborations today. So we'll jump right in. The first one is a collaboration between IPS, Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana, USA, and the American Association of Variable Star Observers. And the coordinator for that is Dana Thompson. Dana, take it away.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, everyone again. I'm going to, of course, share my screen here. And you should be able to just see the IPS website, right? Okay. So on our IPS website, just the main page, there's all of these different tabs up here, which will lead you, of course, to additional information. In our About section, we have partners. As Michael said, that we don't operate as an island. We do have many different partnerships within the IPS. We have them listed here. This is not all of them, I'm sure. But one of them that I'm really a big part of is the American Association of Variable Star Observers. And as it says American, it's really just American based. It is an international group. But this gives you information about the partnerships here. This was really one of the last things I think Mark Subaru did as part of his presidency for the IPS last year. We signed an MOU together, me with Ball State University. I am the director there of their planetarium, and the IPS and the AAVSO here. In it, we can get to some of the content that I'll be explaining in just a second. But the partnership is really just to help get the information from the AAVSO out to the general public in the best way possible. And of course, they thought of planetariums. They wanted to really collaborate with planetariums to be able to get people interested in variable star observations, especially amateur astronomers, people who are maybe just doing citizen science. So if you go over to our resources tab here with the IPS website, you can go down and see all the different resources that IPS offers, but also free media. And this is mostly just links to other free content out there. If you are interested in getting some free content for your dome, you can go and check this out. So there's movies, stills, audio, and so on. Under the movies, we have them all listed here. If you don't see one that you would like to be put here, contact the webmaster, which, as Michelle mentioned, is being transitioned from Alan to her. But there's all these different programs you can download. And that leads me back to this collaboration with the Variable Star organization. We're creating these episodes, these shorts that are released every month that you can download for free and play in your dome. So it's to enhance the planetarium experience. They're very short. It's about a 3-minute video. And it really does fit into many different setups that we have. If you're doing a live presentation in the planetarium, it will fit in there. But if you are doing a pre-recorded program and then have a live sky talk at the end, it can fit in as well there. So if we go to download some of the content, it brings you to the Ball State website that we distribute our programs from the Brown Planetarium here. Gives you some information about the shorts. They're basically small episodes giving you a tour of the night sky and really focusing in on one featured variable star. You can download all of this for free offline here. You might have to use a download manager to help you manage some of the larger files here. And I do link to that third-party software at some point here. I'm missing it right now, but download manager, they're free offline and they help you download some of the larger files here. A lot of the content we do use within these variable star shorts is on the ESO Full Dome Video Archive. And this is another wonderful resource where it lists a whole bunch of free content that you can get for your dome as well. So instead of creating everything from scratch, we do use quite a bit of that in the episodes. But just to wrap it up here, we have been creating an episode every month featuring a star or maybe more than one star. The latest episode is featuring the stars of the summer triangle for the northern hemisphere here. And it gives a tour of the summer triangle and then kind of tells the story of the life cycle of stars like our sun. So there's a lot of great content beyond variable stars in some of the episodes as well. There's also a 360-degree view of these episodes as well on YouTube. And some of it just has the planetarium here as the 360-degree view, but some of the content, it does go into a full 360-degree view without the planetarium seats, depending on what the content we're showing is. All of this is getting kind of updated as we go on throughout the year. Again, it's here, it's free to download. Some of the audio files I did find were mixed a little. They could have been mixed a little bit better. Some of the narration that I recorded myself was peaking, and I didn't notice that until after the fact. So I'm going to update some of the episodes and put up some better quality audio, but it's ready to go as is if you're interested in checking it out. Again, go to our website for the International Planetarium Society. All of our partners are under the About section, and if they're not, we can get those added. And then under resources, there's the free media, and a part of that is the work that we're creating with the AAVSO and here at Ball State.
Dana, thank you so much. Now our second collaboration, I'm going to turn this over to Carrie Berglund, who of course started the Live Interactive Planetarium Symposium more than a decade ago, or about a decade ago. It's been a while and it has been great. So Carrie, floor is yours.
All right, thanks Michael, and good morning everyone. It's still early for me. It's a little after 7 in the morning here in the Pacific time zone. So I've got my coffee and I'm still kind of waking up, but I'm happy to be here. So I'm gonna share my screen and hopefully it will all work. You can see my PDF, right? Yes, excellent. So for those of you not familiar with it, LIPS is the Live Interactive Planetarium Symposium. Was something that Digitalis started back in 2011. So 2021 will be the 11th LIPS, which is kind of crazy to think about. Digitalis started it, but it is not at all vendor specific. It's open to anyone and everyone who does live programs. And we work with different sponsoring companies every year because of course, we're not the only ones encouraging live interactive programs. So if I can get this to go to the next slide, there we go. It's a little tricky to talk about this right now because things are still kind of up in the air. The coronavirus is still very much with us, as we know, with this new Delta variant causing some concerns in the current time. But If we meet in person, the plan is to hold it at the Buell Planetarium at the Carnegie Science Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I gave you some shots there, an exterior of the Carnegie on the right and an interior of the beautiful new Buell Planetarium there on the left. We are planning on holding it from Wednesday through Friday, September 22nd through 24th. Those would be the 3 full days of LIPS. And then an optional evening social event that would be on Tuesday, September 21st. Also in the Buell Planetarium in the Carnegie Science Center. So the state of registration so far, we have a limit of 10 sponsors at LIPS, and that's mainly because every sponsor gets 20 minutes of presentation time, 10 minutes of question and answer time, and we don't want to fill the schedule with only sponsor presentations. So limiting it to 10 sponsorships keeps it to a reasonable amount of sponsor time. You can see that only 3 are booked. Those are Digitalis, ENS and Spitz, and Goto Inc. And I noted there that ePlanetarium is planning to book a sponsor slot if we hold LIPS in person. I told them to hold off for now just because things are uncertain. We have 11 confirmed registrants, and that includes 6 sponsor attendees. I noted that we want a minimum of 30 to hold it in person. If you've ever hosted a conference, you know that even a small conference like this is a lot of work. And so it has to be worth your while to put it together and to attend. And for me, Pittsburgh is a 6-hour flight and 5 days out of the office. And so it just has to make sense. And I think if we don't have at least 30 people, it won't make sense. And I did note as we have one potential sponsor who wants to sign up, we have 3 to 5 others that I know of who will register if we hold it in person. Still, that only brings us to about 16 out of the 30 person minimum. So at this point, it's not looking great. To help us figure out what to do, I put together a really short survey and I just checked the results about 45 minutes ago. I'll go a little bit out of order on this slide. As of 45 minutes ago, we had 47 total responses. I asked people to state on a scale of 1 to 10 how likely they were to be attending LIPS in person. 1 was, I will definitely not be there, and 10 was, I definitely will be there. And if we go back to that second section there, you'll see that 20 people selected number 1, 6 people selected number 2, and 4 people selected number 3. So about 2/3 of the attendees are definitely not going to be there, or at least extremely unlikely to be there. And 6 people selected number 10. So if LIPS 2021 is virtual, and we will do a virtual LIPS or an e-LIPS as I like to call it, if we're not able to meet in person, then we will have LIPS 22 at the Fisk Planetarium, the University of Colorado Boulder. You may remember they were going to host LIPS 2020, and we all know why that didn't happen. And then as the coronavirus kept going into 2021, I decided to look for a host that would be available a little later in the year. Science Center was a great choice for that, just because universities rather are busy in September. Science centers in the US at least, September is kind of a downtime. The Buell Planetarium was happy to host, and so that's why they were going to be our host this year. If we do go virtual, we'll go back to the Buell Planetarium in 2023 because we do have some amazing things planned for there. They have some tremendous facilities. And I really hope we can get there this year, but if not, it'll be 2 years out. And so that brings me to the state of things with LIPS, which is that I don't really know. The survey is going to be open for a couple more days. It's closing Wednesday afternoon at 5 o'clock Pacific time. And then we'll make a decision by the end of the day on Friday. Friday the 13th seemed like a good day to make a decision. And we will let everybody know if it's going to be in person or virtual. And if it is virtual, stay tuned for dates and how to sign up for a session and register and all that kind of stuff. Registration will be free, but we do want to keep those Zoom bombers out. So I will want people to register for that. And so if you have any questions or concerns about LIPS 2021 or LIPS in general, my email address is there. I'm very easy to find. I can put a link after I get out of my presentation here. I'll put a link to the LIPS homepage in the chat in case you're interested, or if you want to sign up. I know this is kind of a weird thing to sign up because it may not happen in person, but that will give me a sense. We definitely won't hit 30 if people don't sign up. So if you do plan to be there, please sign up as soon as you can. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and that's probably all the time I have, but yep, Michael's nodding his head. So I will just welcome your questions. I'll put my email in the chat as well. Oh, and I do want to point out, thanks to Sarah Schultz for reminding me to thank our hosts in person. This would be Carissa Sater and Mike Hennessy at the Buell Planetarium if we're able to host in person. They've been doing a lot of legwork and a lot of great plans, and we will use those plans in 2023, if not this year. All right, thanks everybody. Stay tuned for some stuff in the chat in just a second.
Thank you so much, Carrie. Our third collaboration this morning, evening, afternoon, today, let's just go with that, is going to be Immersa, and that's represented today by Dan Neefus. Dan, take it away.
And I thank you so much, Michael, for this opportunity. I want to say hello to our many, many friends out there too, looking across friends around the world that we've met. Some of you may know I recently retired from the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, but I'm still quite active as CEO with Immersa. I'm also joined today with two of the board members, Carolyn Collins Peterson, Wyatt here, and also—
Hi, everybody.
There we are, a quick hi. And Julieta Aguilera is also on board, our two hardworking members there. So Carolyn, yeah, you said
Hello.
hi, just say hi again, and then Julia will say hi.
Hello.
Wonderful. And an inspired team, Immersa is there. We've established a long and productive relationship with IPS going back more than a decade, kind of experimenting to understand how the two organizations can work together and support each other's missions. At this point, we're at kind of a turning point to where we see a lot more opportunity, maybe that had been in the past with virtual events like this, and I'm really excited about that. Immersa represents a really diverse group of voices around the world, many of whom are not associated with the traditional planetarium. So that ranges from specialty art facilities, portable domes, experimental centers, and a number of producers and folks that, again, are unaffiliated. We try to bring voice to them, as well as a wide range of people well outside of both communities that are involved in particularly the arts or science and research, that are looking for a way to connect with both the Immersa domes and, of course, all the IPS domes. So this is the conduit to accomplish that. Immersa established itself by putting together in-person summits, and we offered 10 of those over the last decade. And like everybody else, we've had to pivot to vConference style. So last year, we experimented a bit with that, and we've been offering bi-monthly events since then, virtually. What I've put together with the help of my counterpart, Michael Dowd, many of you know, a brief 10-minute little overview of the kind of things we're involved with. And if I can share my screen here, we'll get that video online. I hope you all are seeing that.
Nothing yet, Dan.
We're trying to create a synergistic experience so that we are melded together as human beings.
To continue to build the immersive community during the pandemic, our team produced a number of Immersive Day experiences where participants could join online and learn from industry giants. Wizard Douglas Trumbull, former Disney Imagineer Eddie Sato, and a host of experts within the Full Dome, AR, and VR communities. The following are excerpts of some of the Immersive Days we provided over the last 18 months. We invite you to experience the power and the community that is immersive.
Today, we're here to talk about how we can use the dome to share our music and art and blend so many of these creative disciplines with the planetarium's digital technology and create innovative, immersive, and transcendent experiences for our audience.
I think art is an exploration of nature just in the way that science is, and that both disciplines and both fields can learn so much from each other if we just allow space for them to exist together.
Because America uses the power of immersive media that fills your field of vision to evoke unique brain states. So in particular, he's using the power of the format to evoke positive brain states like happiness.
The concept behind it is to bring a sense of well-being to the audience. It's playful, it's awe-inspiring, creates a sense of wonder.
Some really great successes and examples of that are, of course, our live music collaborations. We've expanded beyond sort of just the classical music or the indie rock bands genres, and really are embracing and working with artists of all genres from around the city, including hip hop, EDM. We've had an 8-piece post-apocalyptic rock band in the Dome every Halloween that we do a Halloween show with. We have had an incredible one-woman show from an artist named Ruby Rose Fox called Salt.
The most amazing part was seeing the audiences. We were about, as I said before, we were about midway through the theater run. So we're running about 5 weeks of performances. And we were about midway through that when, unfortunately, we did have to close due to the pandemic. So getting these people in who had perhaps never even stepped foot into the museum before was just an absolutely amazing experience, an amazing opportunity for us to reach people who had never thought to engage with us before.
Our audience is the lifeblood of everything that we do. And if we forget that they are why we do what we do, we've kind of missed the point of our mission. In fact, we've all sat through presentations in the theater that have been less than spectacular. I'm not trying to pick on shows in general because I've produced a lot of these and they've sometimes been disappointing, but I think we can do better. I think we can raise the impact of our content for our audiences so they'll have better enjoyment of the experience altogether, and they'll want to tell people about that experience and bring them back to the theater.
We then download the selected full quality data so we can begin the post-production process here on Earth. This uses a combination of automated and manual processes to create accurate 360-degree stereoscopic scenes at 8K per eye.
If we try to use the same techniques in an outdoor environment, things get a little bit more challenging because these shots can take over 30 minutes. The clouds have moved, birds flying around. It causes a lot more post-production time. However, it can be worth it. You can imagine especially shooting animals is quite a challenge.
And it was just very hard to get something that was continuous and smooth enough to give us like the gracefulness that we needed for the Dome. So we tended to just keep it very simple and try to get something that felt very cinematic. And with both of those moves, especially, we found that you really just got to kind of choose your scene well so that you have a nice depth to the scene. You have something in the foreground, something in the midground, and then something in the distance. And once you do that, you get this really nice parallax that just looks great.
Of course, it's critical to confront the medium's inherited risks, but it's also important to embrace its possibilities. And by immersion, I mean when a simulation is so realistic that it temporarily functions as a viewer's lived experience.
We believe that entertainment media has a way to transform perspectives in a way that no other mediums can. And so it's our responsibility to put diverse perspectives in front and behind the camera. But it just happens that animation and VR are perfect for each other because animation is about taking you to different worlds that you could have never imagined and making you feel that they're so real that you think you could reach out and touch it. And that's also the definition of VR.
We're not being entertained in all the things that we're trying to do here, whether it's VR, domes, blah, 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 blah. We're trying to create a synergistic experience so that we are melded together as human beings.
That notice we're all here obsessed with this notion of being engulfed and being able to participate in this space
We know because of our tradition of filmmakers and movie makers and storytellers that video creates this barrier, that fourth wall. And once that fourth wall is completely broken, the experience becomes a personal experience for each one of the users, which I don't see as audience, I see them as users. And it becomes such an individual experience that just can grow into so many different levels according to the experience.
Amagraph has several view styles for previewing the DOM content with an actual DOM. I think it's also useful to take a snapshot of your DOM content, I think. And in camera mode, and you can place it anywhere on the DOM.
I am Aaron McEwen, and this is Tony Butterfield. We have been working together in the planetarium industry for a long time. Over the last few years, we have engaged ourselves in VR.
Welcome to the surface of Mars. As you look around, you can see we're on about 2 kilometers worth of the surface of Mars. We can literally walk to the top of that mountain over there. Some of you are probably still loading in content. You're going to see the sky turn to night. You're going to see a sandstorm whipping across the surface of the planet.
Because I think that there's an incredible opportunity with Full Dome that's yet to be realized, because we're trying to build the future. We're trying to imagine or reimagine what movies can be. So it involves a lot of studies. I think there's such potential in this medium that if we can do these stepping stones like I've been looking, how do you take this medium and adapt it? How do you tell stories? How do you create more drama? How do you get the creative movie industry involved? So we go to the next level of drama and total suspension of disbelief and all the other factors that I think that make a really fabulous human experience.
Thank you.
All righty, appreciate that. I'll let just run that whole video there, Michael, and to the rest of the team there, give kind of an idea of the excitement going on in the wide worldwide community and all the domes. Our next event coming up here at the end of the month, we're welcome to join us and check out on the Immersa website. It's just immersa.org, and love to see you all there for this next event put together by Julietta. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Dan, and thanks to the rest of the Immersa team that's with us today. We very much appreciate it. Our final collaboration update today is going to be from Mark Subarow. This is our P2P grant with our fellow planetarians in Irkutsk, Russia. Mark, I'll let you take care of all that. Take it away.
Thank you, Michael. So yeah, I just wanted to, and thank you, Michael, for a great first day. So I thought everything we saw was inspiring. Let me just quickly tell you about one of the latest partnership programs the IPS has going on, and that, if you just give me a second to share a presentation and make sure I do it correctly, I hope. So this is a project called Under One Sky. It is part of a series of projects that are U.S. Russia peer-to-peer dialogue program. So it's sponsored by the U.S. Embassy in Moscow and is designed to create a dialogue between citizens of Russia and the United States. And that fits into a number of ongoing exchange programs that the IPS has had, and we've heard a bit about them a number of times this morning already. So they started with a week in Italy for an American planetarium operator, and that got followed up with additional programs. There's a week in the United States where a planetarian from around the world can come and spend a week in the United States, and there's a week with the GDP where a similar thing happens, and the planetarian can get to spend some time in Germany. And this is a whole suite of programs that have been nurtured by Susan Button, and really wonderful opportunities. I encourage everyone to go check out our website, see when the deadlines are to apply. And I also would encourage people, if you want to come up with new exchange programs, we're always looking for ways to expand upon that. So this was meant to be an exchange program of that type, centered around amateur astronomers, and it was going to involve trips from Russia to the US and vice versa. But the pandemic made that impossible. So we've been retooling, trying to come up with virtual programming that could somehow fit that need. Really, the project has been a bit delayed, but it really is just starting to get going in earnest with some projects coming up. So a couple of the things that are happening very soon. We are going to have a planetarium watch party, and this is going to involve two planetariums, the Irkutsk Planetarium and the Abrams Planetarium, which is at Michigan State University, Shannon Schmall. And they're going to watch the same show, a beautiful show produced by our next conference host, Planetarium 1 in St. Petersburg, about the Russian space shuttle. And then afterwards, we're going to have a Zoom conversation between the two audiences with simultaneous translation and a facilitator to talk about this show. And we're going to follow this up with another show later, which is an American-produced show. A lot of this, as I mentioned, was initially focused on amateur astronomers. So we're going to have some technology demonstrations for them. And Jim Schweitzer has been pretty instrumental in getting this project going. And he's going to lead a viewing session with an EV scope later this month that we're looking forward to. But let me just close with a little video from the PI of the project, Pavel Nikiforov, and talking about what's planned. So hopefully I'm trying to run this through the Zoom for browser. Hopefully the audio works okay, but even if it doesn't, we'll have the captions going.
Dear VIPS participants, my name is Pavel Nikiforov, and I am the General Director of Planetarium of Irkutsk and Chairman of Irkutsk Regional Astronomical Organization. You might know me from IPS 2016 in Warsaw and 2018 in Toulouse. And now we are Irkutsk Regional Astronomical Organization in the partnership with International Planetarium Society are in the project Under One Sky. We think that it is a very important project for amateur astronomers and their organization in both countries, in Russian Federation and in United States of America. We share the same sky, but we do not know much of each other. And with this project, we are learning from each other how to make astronomical observations and how to make how to reach the understanding of each other. And this is, we already have one event. It's the simultaneous astronomical observation of the solar eclipse at 10th of June. This eclipse started in the eastern coast of the United States and goes through northern pole and ends in the far east part of Russia. And through the streaming, we were experiencing the different world of each other. It was a really breathtaking experience for our viewers. Almost 6,000 viewers saw this video, and all of them gave us very good comments. Even more interested event will be on 21st of August. We will look simultaneously the same full dome movie under the planetarium domes. The Planetarium 1 in St. Petersburg showed Buran about the Soviet cosmonetics. Will be shown simultaneously in Planetarium 1 in St. Petersburg and in Abrams Planetarium in the United States. And we will have the talking about what Americans knows and how they perceive the Soviet cosmonetics and how do the contemporary Russian society perceive the American achievements in space and how do they perceive the American astronauts. And we are anticipating all the other interesting things from our cooperation. For example, we are looking for demonstration of the scope technique, which will let us observe deep sky objects from the cities. You know, I saw the map where such technique exists, and there is a lot of countries except of Russia. Why? I think Russian matters are very interested in these kinds of techniques. And I think this project will last forever, even after the October of this year, and it will last endlessly, and we will find the friends among the amateur organization in the United States. We will tie the effective and very productive relationships with different planetariums throughout all the United States. And what I want to ask you to answer on the questions of two very short surveys. The first one is the survey about the astronomical observation techniques that you use. And the second survey is about the citizen science project that you use in your amateur astronomy practice. I know not all of you are astronomers. Most of you are professional planetariums, but I'm very confident that you know a lot of amateur astronomers throughout all the United States. I wish your conference good luck, and as you can see, I'm now in Moscow. It's Moscow at the sunset, and here I have the Skoltech building behind me. We are here on the summer space school. This school is for school children throughout all of Russia, and I want that in other such summer schools there will be speakers from United States also. So we are under one sky, and yeah, and I wish you all the best. Bye-bye. До новых встреч. До свидания.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. So, thanks, Pavel, for that. I think Pavel's connected in our group as well. But yeah, this is an exciting program that we're looking to get going, and like all these programs, just trying to build bridges and make the world a little bit smaller. Hand it back to you, Michael.
Thank you so much, Mark. So that brings our collaboration session and day one of the IPS vCon to a close. Just want to give everyone a sense for what to expect on Wednesday. It is August 11th, starts at 1400 UTC. We have three major updates from the education, membership, and the science and data visualization committees and task forces, respectively. There will be some time for networking in there as well. And then we're pleased to announce that both after the August 11th and August 13th, so after the Wednesday and Friday sessions, there will be a 90-minute hospitality and networking session afterwards. So if you've been waiting for a reason to network and chat with your planetarium colleagues around the world online, we will be adding that to the agenda, and we'll be able to do so after both the Wednesday and Friday sessions. But until then, thank you all for coming out and participating today, especially those of you in the more Western time zones of the United States. You are really the MVPs of today, so great job. And thank you to all of our board members, all of the team that's made this possible. We'll see you on Wednesday. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye from Italy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a nice day. Have a nice day.